Chapter 1589. The Heavenly Pagoda Trial was the grandest trial of the Misty Heaven sect. It was held once every 100 years. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy had just joined the Misty Heaven sect and had encountered the Heavenly Pagoda Trial. Many people envied their luck. Chingfeng, Wendy, how did you cultivate? In a short year, you went from a 1-star Dao sovereign to a 6-star Dao sovereign. Feeling Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy's strength, Shui Piaomiao felt as if she were in a dream. She had never seen or heard of such an astonishing cultivation speed. But what she didn't know was that Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy had suppressed their realms. Their true strength had reached the level of a 1-star Dao Emperor, and Yi Chunfeng's combat strength had even surpassed hers. Our realms rose so quickly because we had a fortuitous encounter in the suicide forest. Yi Chunfeng faintly smiled and vaguely said, "No matter what, with your age and strength, you will definitely obtain a good ranking in the Heavenly Pagoda Trial. Perhaps you will have a chance to borrow the power of the Heavenly Pagoda to take that difficult step and break through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm." Thinking of the secrets Yi Chunfeng was hiding, Shui Piaomiao didn't ask any more questions. However, with Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy, as well as Yu Lanxin and Hong Shi, Shui Piaomiao felt that the other 3 pavilions wouldn't be able to compete with the Blue Snow Celestial Pavilion. Pavilion Master, the Heavenly Pagoda Trial can directly increase one's strength? Xia Wendy's eyes brightened. Yes, the Heavenly Pagoda has a total of 9 floors. The first 6 floors have different levels of Heavenly Soul. Every time you kill a Heavenly Soul, you will obtain a wisp of pure Heavenly Soul force. The higher the level of the Heavenly Soul you kill, the higher the level of Heavenly Soul force you will obtain. In the past, I took the most difficult step in the Heavenly Pagoda and broke through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm. Shui Piaomiao nodded. What are the tests in the last 3 floors? Xia Wendy didn't understand the Heavenly Pagoda Trial, so she curiously asked. The 7th and 8th floors of the Sky Tower are tests of Dao intent. If you can pass them, you can directly upgrade your Dao intent. As for the most difficult 9th floor, it is the test of the Sky Tower's weapon spirit. However, in the history of our Misty Heaven sect, only 3 people have stepped into the 9th floor of the Sky Tower, and only 1 person passed the test of the weapon spirit and received the ultimate reward, Shui Piaomiao slowly explained. Pavilion Master, what is the ultimate reward of the Heavenly Pagoda? Yi Chunfeng asked. Rumor has it that the ultimate reward of the Heavenly Tower is the purest Heavenly Soul curtain. Back then, the ancestor who passed the test relied on his strong physical body to withstand the Heavenly Soul's power for 3 days and 3 nights, and directly advanced by 3 levels. Shui Piaomiao said, and that ancestor also became a legend of our Misty Heaven sect. In the end, he stepped into the Dao God realm and brought glory to our Misty Heaven sect. Alright, it's almost time. Let's go to the Tower of Trials. After saying that, Shui Piaomiao summoned more than 10 holy cranes and led the 13 disciples who were qualified to participate in the Heavenly Tower's trial to the core area of the Misty Heaven sect. When the holy cranes passed through the layers of restrictions and flew into the depths of the mountains, a black iron tower that reached into the clouds appeared in everyone's eyes. This black tower was the first heavy monument of the Misty Heaven sect, the Heavenly Tower that had been passed down for countless years. Come, let's go and pay a visit to the clan leader. After landing at the bottom of the Heavenly Tower, Shui Piaomiao immediately led Yi Chunfeng and the others to pay a visit to the clan leader of the Shui family, Shui Shujun. Piaomiao and the disciples pay our respects to the clan leader. Shui Piaomiao respectfully bowed in front of Shui Shujun, who was wearing a long white robe and had a few strands of white hair on her head. Yi Chunfeng, we meet again. When Yi Chunfeng followed Shui Piaomiao and bowed, a cold voice entered his ears. Yi Chunfeng raised his head and saw a woman who was about the same height as him. Her appearance was extremely beautiful, and her long black hair casually draped over her shoulders. Her eyes were like cold stars. Yulan Xian gave off a very cold feeling, but when Yi Chunfeng saw her, he discovered that she was even colder than Yulan Xian. She gave off an unapproachable feeling. Senior apprentice sister Yi Xian, how are you? Yi Chunfeng faintly smiled, neither arrogant nor humble. Yi Chunfeng, Yi Xian has told me of the kindness you have shown her. For you to have such courage is truly beyond my expectations. No matter what results you achieve in this heavenly tower trial, I will grant you a lucky chance. Xue Shujun cast a glance at Yi Chunfeng and promised. Thank you, clan leader. Yi Chunfeng calmly said. Xue Shujun couldn't help but glance at him a few more times. 1. As they spoke, an ear-piercing sword cry sounded from below the heavenly tower. A man wearing a white martial arts robe and standing on a great sword flew over. He gave off an unrestrained feeling. Seeing this man, Xue Yixian's pupils shrank. Obviously, even with Xue Yixian's talent and strength, this man was a taboo. Yu Jianfeng, the son of my Misty Heaven Sect's sovereign. He is known as the #1 genius of the Misty Heaven Sect. He has cultivated for over 700 years and has reached the peak of the 4-star Dao Emperor realm. Yi Chunfeng looked at the man from afar. Yulan Xian's voice entered his ears. Yi Chunfeng smelled a deep sense of danger from Yu Jianfeng. He felt that with his current strength and foundation, he definitely wasn't Yu Jianfeng's match. Yu Jianfeng, you came early. Just when everyone's gazes were attracted by Yu Jianfeng, a deep voice exploded in the sky. The strength of the voice shook the souls of many disciples who were not strong enough, and there were even some disciples whose ears were shaken to the point of bleeding. His name is Feng Yonggu, an extreme genius of the Feng clan. Although he has also cultivated to the 4-star Dao Emperor realm, he is much older than senior apprentice brother Yu and senior apprentice sister Xue. He has cultivated for over 900 years. Also, this person is very difficult to deal with. Senior apprentice brother Yi Chunfeng, try not to clash with him. Yulan Xian transmitted to Yi Chunfeng again. Third senior apprentice sister, the #1 genius of the Hua clan? Is she also a 4-star Dao Emperor? To cultivate for less than 1,000 years and break through to the 4-star Dao Emperor realm, this level of talent was at the peak of the Heaven realm. No, senior apprentice sister Hua, she is the youngest and is a 3-star Dao Emperor. However, her talent is extremely terrifying. Some people say that in the near future she will become the #1 expert of the Misty Heaven Sect. There is an extremely high chance that she will break through to the Dao Lord realm. Yulan Xian transmitted. It seems that the Misty Heaven Sect isn't as weak as we thought. If all these rising stars rise up, the overall strength of the Misty Heaven Sect will increase by a large amount. Yi Chunfeng didn't expect the top geniuses of the 4 great clans of the Misty Heaven Sect to be so terrifying. If nothing unexpected happened, the Misty Heaven Sect would rise up. As time passed, the disciples of the 4 great clans of the Misty Heaven Sect, who had the qualifications to enter the Heaven Pagoda, had all arrived. They stood orderly in front of the Heaven Pagoda, waiting in silence for the Heaven Pagoda to open. At this moment, a dark-skinned old man in a black robe with no expression on his face appeared in the void. He glanced at the disciples who were ready and announced loudly, "The 10-year trial of the Heavenly Pagoda has begun. All disciples can bring 3 supreme sacred artifacts into the pagoda." Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1590. Rumble. A series of deafening booms resounded throughout the entire misty, immortal mountain. The doors of the 8-sided sky pagoda, which were hundreds of feet tall, opened at the same time. A powerful aura emanated from the sky pagoda. "Let's go in." Xue Yixuan, the #1 genius of the Xue family, took the lead and rushed into the sky pagoda. Yi Chunfeng and the others followed closely behind, disappearing into the sky pagoda's gate. Your bone age is less than 100 years. The difficulty of the trial is low. As soon as Yi Chunfeng entered the mysterious sky pagoda, a powerful voice rang in his ears. Xuanmingxuan's soul memory was correct. The difficulty of the sky pagoda was based on one's bone age. The older one's bone age was, the more difficult the trial would be. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi were younger, so they had a lot of advantages. Well, the space of this sky pagoda is so magical. I'm the only one here. Yi Chunfeng looked around the space of the sky pagoda and found that it was empty. He was the only one here. He was amazed by the treasure controlled by the ethereal heaven sect. Yi Chunfeng looked at the huge mountains in the distance and summoned his sword wings without hesitation. He flew over at an extremely fast speed to look for prey. As soon as he flew into the lush forest, the god-eating brain, which was deducing at an extremely fast speed, sensed a strong soul fluctuation in a valley in front of him. He immediately sped up and flew over. Heavenly soul, this is a heavenly soul. As Yi Chunfeng flew into the valley, he saw at least 20 heavenly souls who were covered in black scales, had 2 horns on their heads, and a pair of bat wings on their back. As the difficulty level of Yi Chunfeng's challenge was relatively low, the heavenly souls on the first level were all 1-star Tao Masters. They posed no threat to him. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! Yi Chunfeng's wings flapped violently and intertwined with sharp sword radiance. He rushed into the group of heavenly souls and started to fight fiercely. Streaks of sharp sword radiance shot out from the sword wings. They were like sword shadows that flowed at an extremely fast speed. They sliced through space and continuously killed the heavenly souls that approached them. Every time he killed a heavenly soul, a wave of pure heavenly soul power would enter his body through his pores, making him feel very comfortable. What pure energy! The energy contained in this heavenly soul is actually even purer than the true spirit Holy Dan. There are no impurities at all. When Yi Chunfeng used the soul-devouring art to refine the heavenly soul power, he easily refined the heavenly soul power that had entered his body. During the refining process, his strength also increased. This allowed him to experience the benefits of the heavenly pagoda's trial. In just over 10 breaths, the 23 heavenly souls had been killed by Yi Chunfeng like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. Meanwhile, 23 shining stars appeared in his identity token at any time. Once the number of stars in the identity token reached 100, it would be able to generate a strong teleportation power that would send him directly to the second level of the heavenly pagoda. The space of the heavenly pagoda was vast and boundless, but under the rapid deduction of the god-devouring brain, he easily discovered the heavenly souls hidden in the heavenly pagoda. Although most of these heavenly souls lived in groups, Yi Chunfeng's numbers were much, much greater than theirs. In less than 3 days, Yi Chunfeng had killed 100 heavenly souls and successfully teleported to the second level of the heavenly pagoda. The strength of the heavenly souls in the second level of the heavenly pagoda had reached the level of a 3-star Tao Master, but they were still unable to pose a threat to Yi Chunfeng. Moreover, when Yi Chunfeng exploded with astonishing strength and destroyed one 3-star heavenly soul after another, the heavenly soul power that he obtained was even stronger and purer. He had a feeling that if he could kill his way to the 5th or 6th level of the heavenly pagoda, his strength should be able to reach the level of a 2-star Tao Master. Time passed day by day. Yi Chunfeng did not know exhaustion and killed crazily in the heavenly pagoda. He continuously killed heavenly souls and increased his strength. About a month had passed, and Yi Chunfeng, who was astonishingly powerful, stepped into the 5th level of the heavenly pagoda. The strength of the heavenly souls here had reached the level of a 1-star Tao Emperor, which gave him quite a bit of trouble. Phew, the difficulty has increased by so much. Yi Chunfeng concealed his aura and hid on an ancient tree that was more than 100 feet tall. When he looked at a valley filled with strange rocks, he realized that there were more than 20 heavenly souls in the valley. However, these heavenly souls had reached the level of a 1-star Tao Emperor. Although Yi Qinfeng's strength could easily kill a one-star Dao Emperor Heavenly Soul, he could not withstand the attacks of more than 21-star Dao Emperors at the same time. It seems like I have to put in some effort. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and decided to attack with all his strength at the first moment. If he could kill the heavenly souls after 5 breaths, regardless of whether he succeeded or not, he had to quickly retreat and not give these heavenly souls a chance to attack him. After making the decision, Yi Qinfeng summoned the 9 dragons' jade annulus and hid it in his palm. His entire body turned into a shocking sword shadow and charged towards the group of heavenly souls. Screech, screech, screech. When they sensed Yi Qinfeng's aura, the heavenly souls that were floating in midair and in deep slumber were awakened. They let out ear-piercing screeches and interweaved with frightening Dao intent. They were like resplendent stars that filled the sky as they attacked Yi Qinfeng. 9 dragons' jade annulus cut off the space. Faced with the attacks of more than 20 heavenly souls, Yi Qinfeng immediately burned his primordial bloodline. While rapidly increasing his strength, he controlled the 9 dragons' jade annulus to continuously expand and cut off the space to defend against the attack. When the 9 dragons' jade annulus was sent flying by the combined attacks of more than 20 heavenly souls, Yi Qinfeng suddenly sped up the flow of time by 4 times. He collided with a heavenly soul that was several dozen feet tall and looked like a giant at an astonishing speed. More than 4 billion kilograms of strength exploded from his body. The terrifying strength easily crushed this heavenly soul and smashed him into pieces. Then, golden sword spirits flew out of his soul sea and interweaved with dazzling golden sword radiance. They instantly pierced through the heads of 2 heavenly souls and killed them. True Spirit Fighting Dragon Fist. After killing 3 1-star Emperor-level heavenly souls, Yi Qinfeng did not retreat. 4 black-level Dao diagrams appeared in his body. He deduced his Dao intent and power to the extreme and transformed into a terrifying true spirit. He unleashed streaks of earth-shattering fist radiance that could kill true dragons and bombarded the heavenly souls that were attacking him with all their might. Waves of intense explosions rang out. Yi Qinfeng unleashed the true spirit fighting dragon fist and killed another 2 emperor-level heavenly souls. He used the rules of space to cut off the space and weaken the streaks of terrifying attack. He retrieved the 9 dragons' jade annulus and flew out of the mountain valley at an extremely fast speed. When Yi Qinfeng left the mountain valley at an extremely fast speed, more than 10 furious heavenly souls did not chase after him. Instead, they roared furiously at Yi Qinfeng at the entrance of the mountain valley. I've killed 5 heavenly souls. However, these heavenly souls already know of my existence. If I want to kill all of them, I'm afraid that it will take some time. Looking at the 18 heavenly souls with terrifying auras that caused the space to tremble, Yi Qinfeng hid in the dense forest. He activated the soul-devouring art and quickly refined the pure heavenly soul power that had just entered his body. The bottleneck of my realm has cracked. When Yi Qinfeng refined 5 streaks of heavenly soul power, he was pleasantly surprised to discover that cracks had appeared in the bottleneck that he had been unable to break through. This made him wild with joy. He waited for an opportunity to continue killing Emperor-level heavenly souls and try his best to become a 2-star Dao Dharch. P.S. Tears Clouds has decided to post a picture of Yi Qinfeng this Sunday. If you want to see Yi Qinfeng's appearance, please add me to your WeChat account, WileTY83. Or you can only search for Tears Clouds. Don't miss it. Remember the website address. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1591. Divine Ability Mirror Image. After refining 5 strands of heavenly soul power, Yi Qinfeng did not waste any time. He created a mirror image and charged into the valley with the 9-dragon jade annulus. It immediately attracted the attention of the 18 heavenly souls. They exploded with powerful heavenly soul power and attacked him fiercely. Primordial Bloodline Ignition. Sacred Blood Pearl Fusion. Sacred Fire Triple Transformation. The moment the mirror image attracted the attacks, Yi Chunfeng used his final trump card. He used his third top-grade sacred treasure, the Sacred Blood Pearl, to raise his strength to the maximum. He flapped his powerful sword wings and charged forward at an extremely fast speed. Misty Sword Manual, Misty Sword Technique. Yi Chunfeng deduced his Tao will to the maximum. His golden sword spirit flew out of his soul sea and slashed out. The entire space seemed to stop. The sword light merged with the power of the entire space. It was like a crack in space as it slashed at the 18 Emperor-level heavenly souls. Bang! 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 3 Emperor-level heavenly souls who could not dodge in time were hit by the misty sword. Their bodies shattered like glass, turning into 3 strands of pure heavenly soul power that entered Yi Chunfeng's body. Boundless 3-foot sword. After burning his primordial blood, Yi Chunfeng possessed an endless amount of Tao power. He did not care about the exhaustion of his body and continued to unleash the 3-foot divine sword that had evolved the great Tao. He attacked the nearest Emperor-level heavenly soul and split him in half. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus Return. After killing 4 Emperor-level heavenly souls, Yi Chunfeng did not continue fighting. He retrieved the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus and had his mirror image block with all his strength. He successfully retreated from the valley and continued to refine the 4 strands of pure heavenly soul power in his body. While Yi Chunfeng patiently killed Emperor-level heavenly souls on the 5th level of the Sky Pagoda, Xia Wendy relied on the strength of a 1-star Tao Emperor to successfully enter the 5th level. However, Xia Wendy's foundation was far inferior to Yi Chunfeng's. She did not know how to create a mirror image. Thus, she encountered a lot of trouble on the 5th level. She tried many times but could not kill an Emperor-level heavenly soul. Time passed day by day. Yi Chunfeng was extremely patient. He used his mirror clone to launch sneak attacks and continuously killed the heavenly souls in the mountain valley. After 7 days of hard work, all the Emperor-level heavenly souls in the Heaven Valley had been killed by him. After refining more than 20 wisps of heavenly soul power, more and more cracks appeared on the bottleneck of his cultivation level. He was only 1 step away from breaking through to the 2-star Tao Dharch realm. After killing all the Emperor-level heavenly souls in the valley, Yi Chunfeng adjusted his breathing for a while and recovered from his injuries. Then, he continued to search for other Emperor-level heavenly souls on the 5th level. What's up ahead? While Yi Chunfeng was controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce, he could faintly sense a powerful aura in the forest in front of him. This aura was so strong that it surpassed that of a 1-star Tao Emperor. It seemed to have reached the standard of a 2-star Tao Emperor. Strange, why would there be a 2-star Tao Emperor's heaven soul on the 5th level of the Sky Pagoda? Yi Chunfeng revealed a look of surprise as he muttered to himself. Filled with curiosity, Yi Chunfeng summoned his sword wings and flew over at an extremely fast speed. Sensing Yi Chunfeng's approach, this 2-star Tao Emperor's heaven soul suddenly flew into the distance in an attempt to shake off Yi Chunfeng. Interesting. Sensing that the 2-star Tao Emperor's heaven soul had suddenly escaped, Yi Chunfeng didn't hesitate. He instantly ignited his primordial bloodline and increased his speed to catch up. With the primordial bloodline and the sword wings, Yi Chunfeng's flying speed continued to increase. He gradually closed the distance between him and the 2-star Tao Emperor's heaven soul. What is that, a rock? After passing through the sea of trees, Yi Chunfeng saw a huge rock in front of him. It was running with 2 legs exposed. The God-Eater brain had sensed that this was the 2-star Tao Emperor. Horizontal sword slash. Locking his gaze on this running rock, Yi Chunfeng's body emitted a powerful sword intent. Like a shooting star that streaked across the sky, he stabbed towards the rock at an extremely fast speed. Tisk! Yi Chunfeng turned his body into a sword and stabbed the horizontal sword slash ruthlessly on this huge rock. Sparks surged out from the surface of the rock. Such a tough body. Yi Chunfeng realized that this rock had only a sword mark on its surface after being attacked by his horizontal sword slash. Roar! A furious roar echoed from the rock. Two arms that were as thick as water buckets broke out of the rock and blasted towards Yi Chunfeng with a force of billions of kilograms. It wanted to crush Yi Chunfeng, who dared to attack it. 9 transformations, divine transformation. Facing the Rockman's attack, Yi Chunfeng continued to attack. He raised his strength to the limit and burst forth with over 4 billion kilograms of strength. He clashed head-on with the Rockman's fists that were even bigger than his body. Boom! The two fists that were filled with billions of kilograms of strength clashed together. There was an earth-shattering sound, which caused the ancient trees around them to shatter into pieces and scatter in the air. Your strength is nothing more than this. After clashing head-on with the Rockman's attack, Yi Chunfeng realized that the Rockman's strength was slightly weaker than his own. He revealed an unruly smile and pushed his physical strength to the limit, clashing with the Rockman with absolute strength. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them clashed head-on, creating an astonishing explosive force in the entire space. The terrifying sound was like a divine bell that appeared between heaven and earth, shaking the heavens and earth. Sacred Fire Triple Transformation. After clashing with hundreds of attacks, Yi Chunfeng suddenly ignited the Sacred Fire Triple Transformation, further increasing his attack power. He borrowed the power of the Sacred Fire to shatter the Rockman's tough body. After about 30 minutes, Yi Chunfeng's body was bleeding profusely from the intense battle. Meanwhile, the Rockman's body was covered with cracks, and one of its arms was severely damaged. Yi Chunfeng and the Rockman's injuries continued to worsen, but neither of them had any intention of giving up. They continued to clash head-on, neither showing any signs of weakness. After about the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the golden battle soul flew out of Yi Chunfeng's soul sea when the Grand Mist Bloodline's amplification effect began to fade. It slashed towards the stone golem at close range. The astonishing attack power sent the stone golem flying, leaving a deep sword wound on its chest. 9 Dragon Jade Wall, kill it for me. The Rockman was heavily injured. Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any more time. He summoned the 9 Dragon Jade Wall and controlled the 4 Dao diagrams to fuse into the Jade Wall. He condensed 9 wild dragons that bombarded the Rockman. At the same time, the Golden Sword Soul, which had an even stronger attack power, began to fiercely attack. Finally, before the effects of the Grand Mist Bloodline disappeared, the Rockman, who had no strength to resist, shattered. 2 wisps of pure and powerful heavenly soul force broke through its shattered body and drilled into Yi Chunfeng's body. Soul-devouring art, refine. Sensing the strength of these 2 wisps of heavenly soul force, Yi Chunfeng immediately circulated the soul-devouring art and refined them quickly, charging towards the 2-star Dao Emperor realm. Kacha kacha. Clear cracks constantly appeared in Yi Chunfeng's cultivation bottleneck. The 2-star Dao Emperor's power flowed into his body bit by bit. Yi Chunfeng spent 2 days to refine these 2 wisps of heavenly soul force. He broke through the bottleneck and broke through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm. Chapter 1592. Time flew by and soon a year had passed. 8. 1. Chinese. 1. X8. 1XZ. In this year, Yi Chunfeng, who had broken through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm, successfully killed 100 Emperor-ranked heavenly souls, gathered enough space teleportation power, and entered the 6th level of the Sky Pagoda. The moment he stepped into the 6th level, his name appeared on a jade-like, smooth wall of light outside the Sky Pagoda. Immediately, the entire Misty Heaven sect fell into a huge shock, and this news spread like a hurricane through the entire Misty Heaven sect. Yi Chunfeng, this name is so familiar, I feel like I've heard it before. Are you stupid? Back then, the person who obtained the supreme grade True Spirit Saint art at the Imparting Cliff was called Yi Chunfeng. So it's him. I remember that he just joined our ethereal heaven sect, and his strength was only at the 4-star Tao Saint realm. How did he have the strength to kill 100 Emperor-ranked heavenly souls, be the first to step into the 6th level, and suppress Senior Brother Yu, Senior Sister Shui, and the others? How can someone who can obtain the recognition of the imparting heavenly wall be a normal person? I didn't expect our ethereal heaven sect to give birth to another peerless genius. There is hope for our rise. Looking at the name that appeared on the wall of light, everyone present started to whisper. Many people were shocked by Yi Qinfeng's results, and many people revealed looks of jealousy. Clan leader Shui, what is Yi Qinfeng's background? Ethereal Heaven Sect leader Yu Xian looked at Yi Qinfeng's name and called the Shui clan leader Shui Shujun over. I don't know much about Yi Qinfeng, but he is Piaomiao's disciple. I'll call Piaomiao over now. As he spoke, Shui Shujun ordered someone to call Shui Piaomiao over. Piaomiao greets sect leader, clan leaders, and elders. The elegant Shui Piaomiao bowed deeply to Yu Xian and the others and said respectfully, "No need for formalities." Yu Xian said in a low voice, "Misty, let me ask you. What is the background of this Yi Qinfeng? Where did he come from? Is he reliable?" "Don't worry, Sect Master. Qingfeng is very reliable," Shui Piaomiao reported. "He is the same as me. We both ascended from the lower realm." Ascenders from the lower realms. Knowing Yi Qinfeng's identity, Yu Xian and the others were even more shocked. An ascender from the lower realm has such heaven-defying talent? He actually defeated all the geniuses of the Misty Heaven sect? A beautiful woman in embroidered Taoist robes with light makeup on her face said. She looked to be in her 30s and gave off a charming and enchanting feeling. She was the head of the Hua clan, the person in charge of the Misty Heaven sect's resources, Hua Xing. "Piaomiao, according to what you know, how long did this Yi Qinfeng and that Xia Wendy cultivate? Did they ascend to the heaven realm?" Yu Xian pondered for a moment before asking. "Less than 100 years. Shui Piaomiao said honestly. "Less than 100 years. Everyone from the Misty Heaven sect sucked in a cold breath. At this moment, they did not know what words to use to describe their feelings at this moment. The lower realm was different from the heaven realm. Whether it was the environment or the resources, it was far behind the heaven realm. However, to be able to tear open the gate of the heaven realm and ascend to the heaven realm in less than 100 years was definitely a rare genius. Piaomiao, before the trial, what realm did Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy reach? Yu Xian concealed the light in his eyes and asked. Before the trial, the two of them had just broken through to the realm of 6-star Tao Masters on the gravity planet. Shui Piaomiao said, "What? 6-star Tao Masters?" Hua Xing lost her composure and said, "If I remember correctly, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy were only 4-star Tao Saints when they obtained the Misty Sword Codex and the Soaring Heaven Codex at the Preaching Cliff, respectively." "Yes." Shui Piaomiao nodded and said, "I didn't expect their realms to rise so quickly. This, in just a few years, to break through from 4-star Tao Saints to 6-star Tao Masters. This is a bit impossible," Hua Xing said doubtfully. "For some peerless geniuses, breaking through realms is as easy as drinking water. Moreover, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy are definitely hiding a big secret. I'm afraid that they are not ordinary ascenders." Yu Xian's deep eyes shone brightly. "Sect leader, you're saying that there's something wrong with them?" The dark-skinned Feng Mulan, the clan leader of the Feng clan, said with a serious expression. "I can't say for sure." Yu Xian shook his head and said, "I just think that they might be related to some big shots." "Clan leader, you mean, they might be the descendants of some big shot from the heaven realm or the void god realm?" Lord Shui Shu understood the deeper meaning of Yu Xian's words. "That's right. To be able to rise in such a short period of time, in addition to terrifying talent, they also need great opportunities. Such opportunities are rare in the lower realm, so I suspect that they might be the descendants of some big shot in the lower realm." Yu Xian nodded and said, "That's indeed possible." Hua Ziying said, "The ancient war changed the void god realm, and even the heaven realm. Many big shots went into seclusion, and some even sealed their descendants and sent them to various realms. Perhaps their identities might be as you say, sect leader. Now that I think about it, that's indeed possible. If an ordinary person obtained a top-quality true spirit saint art, they definitely wouldn't share it with outsiders. However, that Yi Chunfeng very generously gave the cultivation chant of the top-quality true spirit saint art to Yishuan. Just this courage alone is not something an ordinary person can have." Lord Shueshu said, "If Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi are really the descendants of some big shot in the void god realm, what should we do?" Feng Mulan said with a frown. "They are disciples of the Misty Heaven sect, that's all." Yu Xian took a deep breath and said, "As long as they have no disloyalty to the Misty Heaven sect, they can stay as long as they want." Yu Xian looked at the thoughtful Shui Piaomiao and slowly said, "Piaomiao, I now officially appoint you as the new palace master of the Snow Palace. Help me teach the two of them well. As for what we just said, don't tell them." "Yes, sect leader. Piaomiao knows what to do." Shui Piaomiao didn't think that Yi Chunfeng's arrival would really change her fate. She had a strange feeling in her heart. "By the way, I wonder if you guys are interested in watching the images of Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi going through the Heavenly Tower?" At this moment, Yu Xian was very interested in Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi. If their identities were as he guessed, then it was very likely that they would become the catalyst for the Misty Heaven sect's rise. "Of course we are," everyone said in unison. "Good. Let's go to the Heavenly Tower and let the artifact spirit show us the images." After saying that, Yu Xian took out the sect leader's token and opened the doors of the Heavenly Tower. He led everyone into the Heavenly Tower and watched the process of Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi's trial through the light mirror on the first floor. If Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi were really the descendants of some big shot in the Void God realm, Yu Xian and the others believed that they would be able to see some clues from the strength and methods they had displayed. They would be able to create a miracle in the Heavenly Tower. Chapter 1593. This is the 6th floor of the Heavenly Trial Pagoda. After being teleported to the 6th floor of the Heavenly Trial Pagoda, Yi Chunfeng found himself in a snowy world. It was a vast expanse of whiteness as far as the eye could see. By Chinese Network X8 1 Z 1 XC. After scanning the space in front of him, Yi Chunfeng closed his eyes. As he adjusted his breathing, he controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce and sense the reality of this world. Just as Yi Chunfeng was in the 6th floor of the Heavenly Sensing Pagoda, he did not know that the images of him and Xia Wendi had appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, Xia Wendi was taking a great risk. She was trapped in an Emperor-level heavenly soul. She was holding an extremely powerful top-grade sacred artifact and using the Ling Shao scripture's ferocious attack. After paying a great price, Xia Wendi killed 3 Emperor-level heavenly souls. She did not care about the injuries on her body. She killed her way out of the valley and hid outside to recover. I saw Xia Wendi's methods. Her foundation is limited. She doesn't look like a descendant of the Void God Realm's Almighty. Yu Xian said softly as he watched Xia Wendi's bloody battle. Yes, Xia Wendi shouldn't have any problems. Maybe the problem lies with Yi Chunfeng. Let's wait and see what methods Yi Chunfeng will use to kill the 10 great kings of the 6th floor and enter the 7th floor of the Heavenly Pagoda, Yu Xian said. If I remember correctly, no one has entered the 7th floor of the Heavenly Pagoda for tens of thousands of years. Feng Mulan said with a serious expression. Yes, it has been more than 80,000 years. However, I feel that Yi Chunfeng should be able to enter the 7th floor of the Heavenly Pagoda. Yu Xian nodded. His interest in Yi Chunfeng was growing stronger. After adjusting his breathing for about a day, Yi Chunfeng adjusted his body to the best state. He summoned his sword wings and flew towards the northwest at an extremely fast speed. Soon Yi Chunfeng flew to a very dangerous space surrounded by several snowy mountains. In this space there were 10 statues standing in silence. Their bodies were covered in a thick layer of snow, and there was not a trace of spiritual energy fluctuations on their bodies. This brat is indeed a little strange. He actually found the location of the 10 great kings. Hua Ziying was slightly surprised to see Yi Chunfeng easily find the location of the 10 great kings. One had to know that the 10 great kings of the 6th floor were not easy to find. Yet Yi Chunfeng was able to locate them so easily. It was enough to show how extraordinary he was. 3-star Tao Emperors. These 10 statues have actually reached the level of 3-star Tao Emperors. The trial of the 6th level of this sky pagoda is indeed very difficult. I wonder if I can kill one of them with one strike with my current combat strength. Gazing at the 10 snow-covered statues, Yi Chunfeng was constantly thinking of a way to deal with them. However, with the 10 statues together, it was impossible to break through one by one. If he wanted to pass, he could only face them head-on. After pondering for a while, Yi Chunfeng suddenly split his mirror image doppelganger. Like 2 arrows, they flew towards the bottom of the snow-covered mountain valley. Doppelganger? Isn't it forbidden to bring doppelgangers in the Sky Pagoda trial? Hua Ziying said in surprise. No, if we are not mistaken, that is a doppelganger created by using a divine ability. It is not restricted by the Sky Pagoda. The experienced Yu Xian shook his head. This Yi Chunfeng really has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Yu Xian and the others were completely attracted by Yi Chunfeng. They were paying attention to his trial. Roar, roar, roar after roar of anger rang out. Sensing Yi Chunfeng and his mirror image doppelganger flying towards them, the 10 snow-covered statues let out earth-shattering roars. The terrifying roars caused the surrounding mountains to tremble violently, forming a terrifying avalanche. In the next moment, the 10 statues shattered, revealing 10 men in black robes and black armor. Their auras soared to the heavens. Like a cold sun piercing through space, they pierced towards Yi Chunfeng and his mirror image doppelganger. Primordial bloodline, ignite. Facing the attacks of 4 trial monarchs, Yi Chunfeng immediately ignited his primordial bloodline, fused with the sacred blood pearl, and ignited 3 sacred flames. He forcibly raised his strength to the level of a 3-star Tao Emperor. Using his mirror image doppelganger as defense, he attacked with all his might. Ethereal Sword Codex, Ethereal True Extreme Sword. The golden sword soul flew out of his soul sea and evolved a terrifying Tao intent. It was like an ethereal galaxy as it ruthlessly slashed at one of the trial monarchs. Although this trial monarch's defense was shocking, the golden sword soul's attack power was comparable to a mid-grade true spirit saint artifact. In addition, the Ethereal Sword Codex was a supreme-grade true spirit saint art. The combination of the two was not something the trial monarch could withstand. Qi. The golden sword soul that was intertwined with the power of the great Tao split open a trial monarch's body. The sword aura that was released from the sword soul destroyed the trial monarch completely. Break for me. Over 4 billion kilograms of power exploded in Yi Chunfeng's body and ruthlessly slammed into the trial monarch's body. The terrifying power directly shattered the trial monarch's body and turned into a strand of pure heavenly soul force that drilled into Yi Chunfeng's body. Success. Yi Chunfeng didn't expect that after breaking through to the level of a 2-star Tao Emperor, his battle power would increase by so much. He revealed a look of deep joy and followed up with another attack. He executed the true spirit fighting dragon fist and attacked another trial monarch. Boom, boom, boom. Under the attack of the world-shaking fighting dragon fist that was enough to kill a true dragon, the trial monarch's body was constantly shattered and turned into heavenly soul force that was absorbed by Jiang Yi. Finally, before the mirror image clone was shattered by the other 8 trial monarchs, Yi Chunfeng forcefully killed the second trial monarch. The sword wings on his back violently flapped and shattered the spear lights that pierced through the heaven and earth as he flew into the air. Golden Sword Soul. That Yi Chunfeng has cultivated the Golden Sword Soul. Such valiant combat power. In the blink of an eye, he killed 2 trial monarchs. This Yi Chunfeng should be a descendant of a void god world almighty. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so heaven-defying. After seeing Yi Chunfeng's Golden Sword Soul and his shocking foundation and methods, Yu Xian and the others had basically confirmed their earlier guesses. The way they looked at Yi Chunfeng had changed quite a bit. 3 days later, Yi Chunfeng had recovered to his original state. He split out his mirror image clone and used the same move to kill his way into the valley. He then started an intense battle with the remaining 8 trial monarchs. True dragon transformation. When the Golden Sword Soul forcefully killed a trial monarch, Yi Chunfeng used a side branch divine ability of the dragon race and transformed into a terrifying blood dragon. His massive body swayed as he fiercely fought at the bottom of the snow valley. He used the mirror image clone to attract most of the attacks and killed another 2 trial monarchs, fusing with his incomparably powerful heavenly soul force. A divine ability of the dragon race. Could this Yi Chunfeng be a descendant of a dragon race almighty? Seeing Yi Chunfeng transform into a blood dragon, Yu Xian and the others were deeply shocked. They constantly tried to guess his identity. There are still 5 people left. This time, I should be able to deal with them all at once. Yi Chunfeng adjusted his condition to its peak. He ignited his Grand Mist bloodline and 3 Saint Flames. For the 3rd time, he killed his way into the bottom of the snow valley. He pushed his Tao intent and strength to the limit as he fiercely fought with the 5 trial monarchs. Although the trial monarchs had the advantage in numbers, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was far too powerful. In addition to the endless supply of Tao energy and the amplification of the Golden Sword Soul, he continuously used the Misty Sword Scripture, pushing his striking power to the limit. After about half an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng paid the price of many injuries and forcefully killed the 5 trial challengers. He fused with the pure power of 5 heavenly souls and gathered 10 teleportation stars. Then, he disappeared from the 6th level of the tower and entered the 7th level of the tower, where no one had entered for over 80,000 years. Chapter 1594. This Yi Chunfeng is too heaven-defying. It's only been a year, and he actually stepped onto the 7th floor of the Sky Pagoda, where no one has been for more than 80,000 years. Such talent is hard to come by. Yeah, I didn't expect a monster with an extraordinary background to come to our Misty Heaven sect. Yu Xian took a deep breath and said, I just don't know if his appearance is a blessing or a curse for our Misty Heaven sect. Bai Chinese network is not equal to equals is almost equal to. Is almost equal to 8 is equal to 1 is not equal to z is not equal to. When Yi Chunfeng stepped onto the 7th floor of the Sky Pagoda, Yu Jianfeng, who was known as the strongest person in the Misty Heaven sect, was the second to enter the 6th floor. Although stepping onto the 6th floor of the Sky Pagoda in more than a year was a result to be proud of, compared to Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying results, he was still a lot dimmer. Crystal stone, what a huge crystal stone! After entering the 7th floor of the Sky Pagoda, Yi Chunfeng saw a crystal stone that was more than 30 meters tall and flashing with Tao intent in front of him. If he wanted to pass the 7th floor's test and enter the 8th floor, he had to break this Tao intent crystal stone. Golden Sword Soul break. Yi Chunfeng's mind moved, and he summoned the Golden Sword Soul, trying to attack this huge Tao intent Saint Crystal. But in the next moment, endless Tao intent spread out from the Tao intent Saint Crystal like an erupting volcano, bombarding Yi Chunfeng, whose expression changed slightly as he put all his effort into defense. Space partition. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng used the space law and constantly separated the space in front of him, blocking the Tao intent released by the Tao intent Saint Crystal, and narrowly dodged 10,000 meters away. Looks like it's impossible to break this Tao intent Saint Crystal by force. Yi Chunfeng originally wanted to save time and rely on absolute attack power to break the Tao intent Saint Crystal, but after seeing the terrifying backlash of the Saint Crystal, he knew that this method wouldn't work. If he wanted to pass this floor's test, he had to pass the Tao intent to break this Saint Crystal. Yi Chunfeng stood 10,000 meters away and waited for a while. When the Tao intent Saint Crystal gradually quieted down, he approached again and sat cross-legged under the Tao intent Saint Crystal. He controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce, and released a powerful soul power into the Saint Crystal, trying to break it from the inside. Sea of Fire. His soul force seeped into the Tao Will Saint Crystal, and Yi Chunfeng discovered that a sea of blazing flames had appeared within the Saint Crystal. The scorching temperature incinerated the entire space, causing it to constantly distort. Suddenly, a red sun rose from the sea of flames, and it emitted boundless light of Tao insight. Mystic Fire Tao Diagram. Looking at the red sun floating above the sea of fire in the distance, Yi Chunfeng immediately recognized that it was formed from the Mystic Fire Tao diagram. But Yi Chunfeng had long since cultivated the profound grade Tao diagram of the 5 elements, so this profound grade Tao diagram of fire before him was completely useless to him. Even if he completely comprehended it, he would be unable to improve his comprehension of Tao insight. 5 elements Xian Tao diagram, break for me. With a command in Yi Chunfeng's mind, the profound grade Tao diagram of the 5 elements appeared within his extremely deductive soul, and it was like a 5-element Tao insight meteor that collided with the profound grade Tao diagram of fire. Boom! A deafening explosion rang out above the sea of fire. The 2 profound grade Tao diagrams collided with each other and immediately released boundless Tao insight energy that fiercely repelled each other and shattered each other. Although the profound grade Tao diagram of fire could continuously fuse with the power of the sea of fire and amplify the might of the Tao diagram, the might of the profound grade Tao diagram of the 5 elements was too shocking. The power of the 5 elements completely erupted and directly suppressed the profound grade Tao diagram of fire. As the 2 profound grade Tao diagrams repelled each other more and more fiercely, the blazing sea of fire became violent, and hundreds of fireballs flew out of the sea of fire and attacked the profound grade Tao diagram of the 5 elements with extreme speed. Profound grade Heaven-Earth Tao diagram, profound grade Life and Death Tao diagram, break. Yi Chunfeng continued to deduce Tao insights and formed 2 profound grade Tao diagrams within the Tao insight Saint Crystal space. At the same time that they shattered the fireballs, they fiercely attacked the profound grade Tao diagram of fire. Under the fierce attack of the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams, the profound grade Tao diagram of fire shattered, and the sea of fire that burned space disappeared. A crack appeared on the surface of the Tao insight Saint Crystal. But in the next moment, a black tribulation cloud appeared within the Tao insight Saint Crystal. A large amount of black heavenly lightning didn't leave the tribulation cloud and bombarded the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams. Although the might of the profound grade Tao diagram of metal that released the black heavenly lightning was above the profound grade Tao diagram of fire, it was still unable to destroy the 3 fused profound grade Tao diagrams that Yi Chunfeng had comprehended. After about 2 hours, the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams directly broke into the black tribulation cloud and shattered the profound grade Tao diagram of metal, causing a deep crack to appear on the surface of the Tao insight Saint Crystal. Time passed day by day. Yi Chunfeng sat cross-legged under the Tao insight Saint Crystal and controlled the God-Eater brain to continuously deduce the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams, destroying the Tao diagrams produced by the Tao insight Saint Crystal and shattering it. Seeing more and more cracks on the surface of the Tao insight Saint Crystal, Yu Xian and the others were completely convinced by Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying talent. Although they had never challenged the Tao insight Saint Crystal, It was recorded in the ancient books that the Tao Insight Saint Crystal contained extremely terrifying Tao insight. A genius like Yi Qinfeng, who broke more than 20 profound grade Tao diagrams in less than 3 days, had never been recorded in the ancient book. This Yi Qinfeng is too heaven-defying. I really don't know how deep his foundation is. Xue Shujun shook her head and couldn't help but sigh. In her heart, she was also somewhat glad that she didn't let Xue Mingxian take the position of Snow Palace Master. Otherwise, with Yi Qinfeng's talent and strength, he might be able to turn Snow Palace upside down. Maybe he really has the chance to set foot on the 9th floor of the Heavenly Trial Tower and challenge Senior Artifact Spirit. Yu Xian took a deep breath and said. As time passed, disciples were constantly sent out of the Heavenly Trial Tower because they couldn't defeat Tian Hun. Although they couldn't last for 10 years, all the disciples in the Heavenly Trial Tower improved their strength to varying degrees. Some disciples even broke through to the next level, greatly increasing the overall strength of the Misty Heaven sect. However, if the Misty Heaven sect wanted to truly rise, they needed a leader, and Yi Qinfeng's appearance gave Yu Xian and the others a glimmer of hope. The 31st Profound Grade Tao Diagram. Just how much Tao insight is in this Tao Insight Saint Crystal? Yi Qinfeng controlled the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams and tirelessly broke the 31st profound grade Tao diagram. He found that the Tao Insight Saint Crystal was still multiplying the Tao Insight Saint Crystal. If it weren't for the God-Eater brain that had transformed and become extremely powerful, he wouldn't have been able to withstand such a large consumption. Buzz buzz buzz. The space of the Tao Insight Saint Crystal suddenly became pitch black. Endless Tao Insight power crazily surged in like rivers flowing into the sea, forming a vast profound grade Tao diagram that stretched across the heavens and earth. And Yi Qinfeng felt the aura of the 31st profound grade Tao diagram that he had just broken in this profound grade Tao diagram. Obviously, this profound grade Tao diagram that combined all the Tao insight of the 31st profound grade Tao diagram might be his final challenge. Come. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and controlled the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams to fuse together, transforming into a terrifying sea of Tao insight that roared and surged in the pitch-black space, transforming into a terrifying hand of Tao insight that fiercely slapped towards this profound grade Tao diagram that isolated this space. Bang! When the hand of Tao insight slapped onto this profound grade Tao diagram, it gave rise to 1,000 waves. Boundless Tao insight energy spilled out from within the profound grade Tao diagram, and it madly attacked the hand of Tao insight and shattered it bit by bit. Sword of Tao insight. When the hand of Tao insight was shattered by this profound grade Tao diagram, Yi Qinfeng controlled the sea of Tao insight to transform into a few thousand extremely powerful Tao insight swords that attacked the profound grade Tao diagram at an extremely swift speed, and they fought with all their might within the pitch-black space. The might of this profound grade Tao diagram that was multiplied by the Tao Insight Saint Crystal was extremely terrifying, but the 3 profound grade Tao diagrams that Yi Qinfeng had comprehended weren't inferior to his. Coupled with the God-Eater brain that was deduced to the extreme, Yi Qinfeng didn't fall into a disadvantageous position in this intense battle. Numerous cracks appeared on this profound grade Tao diagram as the energy of Tao insight that flowed within the Tao diagram was ceaselessly slashed apart by numerous Tao insight swords that possessed shocking might. Finally, under Yi Qinfeng's perseverance, the sea of Tao insight transformed into a few thousand Tao insight swords that pierced through this enormous profound grade Tao diagram. Kacha kacha! The profound grade Tao diagram shattered, and the enormous Tao Insight Saint Crystal ceaselessly resounded with cracking sounds before it completely shattered. At the instant the Tao Insight Saint Crystal shattered, Yi Qinfeng was swallowed by a formidable energy of teleportation and arrived at the 8th level of the Heavenly Refinement Pagoda. Chapter 1595. In less than 2 years, he reached the 8th floor of the Heavenly Trial Tower. Is this Yi Qinfeng going to break our Misty Heaven Sect's record? Is this the talent of a descendant of a void god realm expert? Our Misty Heaven Sect's geniuses are far inferior to him. Yu Jianfeng, who was known as the #1 genius of the Misty Heaven Sect, was still on the 6th level of the Heavenly Smelting Pagoda, trying his best to kill a king. Meanwhile, Yi Qinfeng had already reached the 8th level. Yu Xian and the other side. August 1st Chinese Network? 1. Sect Master, how long do you think Yi Qinfeng will take to break through the Tao Intent Tablet on the 8th level? Even though the difficulty of the trials at the 8th level of the Heavenly Refinement Pagoda was extremely high, no one doubted that the Tao Insight Tablet would be able to obstruct his footsteps. Yes, about a year. Although Yi Qinfeng only took a short time to shatter the Tao Intent Saint Crystal, the power of the Tao Intent Tablet far surpassed the Tao Intent Saint Crystal. I think it will take at least 3 years. Feng Mulan, who had dark skin and a serious expression, said. Then let's wait and see. Let's see if this Yi Qinfeng can surprise us again. Yu Xian smiled and looked at the screen, paying attention to Yi Qinfeng. The test of the 8th level is the Tao Intent Tablet, right? Thinking about the introduction of the Heavenly Trials Tower in Xuemingxuan's soul memory, Yi Qinfeng looked at the space that was like a black curtain and vaguely saw a towering Tao Intent Tablet. There was still a long time before the 10-year deadline, so Yi Qinfeng wasn't in a hurry. He sat cross-legged on the 8th level of the Heavenly Trials Tower and sorted out the small realizations he had obtained when he shattered the Tao Intent Saint Crystal. He recovered his soul energy and prepared to face the Tao Intent Tablet. About 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng opened his eyes and took a deep breath. He walked step by step into the pitch-black space. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He'd just taken 2 steps when the sky that was like a black curtain suddenly trembled, and then a Tao Insight Tablet that was over 100 m tall and coiled with a large amount of ancient Tao markings descended from the sky, and it carried a force of a few hundreds of millions of kgs to press down towards Yi Qinfeng. When he thought of the 7th level of the Pagoda of Trials and the space of the 8th level that could only be resisted with Tao insights, Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath as the 3 great profound grade Tao diagrams appeared within his soul sea, and they quickly fused together to transform into an extremely powerful Tao Insight vortex that forcefully resisted the Tao Insight Tablet that was pressing down towards him. Ka. Under the suppression of the Tao Insight Tablet, the Tao Insight vortex formed from the 3 great profound grade Tao diagrams shattered, and the terrifying Tao Insight Tablet smashed fiercely towards Yi Qinfeng with the intention of suppressing him. Yi Qinfeng shouted out explosively as the energy in his 5 apertures exploded out, and surging energy was like a boiling tide that madly surged into his arms and forcefully held up the Tao Insight Tablet. Subsequently, the Tao diagram of the Heavenly Tao appeared within Yi Qinfeng's soul sea, and it madly surged into the Tao Insight Tablet along with the 3 great profound grade Tao diagrams to forcefully attack the Tao Insight that filled the Tao Insight Tablet. What grade of Tao diagram is within this Tao Insight Tablet? When the 4 great profound grade Tao diagrams surged into the Tao Insight Tablet, a Tao diagram that exceeded his imagination appeared within the Tao Insight Tablet, and it instantly disintegrated the 4 great profound grade Tao diagrams. Could this be a heaven grade Tao diagram? The 8th level of the Pagoda of Trials is a heaven grade Tao diagram test. Yi Qinfeng had never seen a heaven grade Tao diagram before, so he didn't know how terrifying it was. Now that he saw it, he was deeply shocked by the might of the heaven grade Tao diagram. The heavenly Tao was the foundation of all Taos, and the 5-element Tao diagram, heaven and earth Tao diagram, and life and death Tao diagram were powerful fused Tao insight. When the 4 great profound grade Tao diagrams blasted into the Tao Insight Tablet, they were actually easily disintegrated by the heaven grade Tao diagram, and this allowed Yi Qinfeng to deeply experience how terrifying heaven grade Tao diagrams were. Looks like if I want to shatter this Tao Insight tablet and step foot into the 9th level of the Pagoda of Trials, I must completely comprehend the heaven-grade Tao diagram. Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath and calmed his heart, and he forcefully held up the Tao Insight tablet that weighed a few 100 million kilograms while controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce and comprehend the heaven-grade Tao diagram. This exactly how much strength does this Yi Chenfeng have? Why doesn't he put down the Tao Insight tablet and insists on holding it up? It's impossible that he doesn't know that he can put down this Tao Insight tablet and slowly comprehend it. Xue Shu Jun looked at Yi Chenfeng, who was holding the Tao Insight tablet up high and using all his strength to comprehend the heaven-grade Tao diagram, and was stunned by the scene in front of him. No, I feel like Yi Chenfeng is training his strength. Yu Xian shook his head and said, to be able to hold up the Tao Insight tablet so easily without exerting any effort, this Yi Chenfeng's physical body is even stronger than a saint beast. Training his strength. Everyone was speechless. Time passed day by day. When Yi Chenfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to comprehend the heaven-grade Tao diagram in the Tao Insight tablet, many trial disciples were tragically eliminated, but there were also many who stepped foot into the higher levels of the Pagoda of Trials. Among them, the 4 top geniuses of the Misty Heaven sect, Yu Jianfeng, Feng Gyun, Hua Shi, and Xue Yishuan, all killed 100 Emperor-level heavenly souls on the 5th level of the Pagoda of Trials and entered the 6th level. Xia Wendy persevered, and with a spirit that never gave up, she also killed over 80 Emperor-level heavenly souls. She was only one step away from entering the 6th level and challenging King-level heavenly souls. It's been almost a year, looks like he's also in trouble. In this year, Yu Xian and the others entered the Pagoda of Trials from time to time to observe Yi Chenfeng. But 11 months had passed. Yi Chenfeng, who was like a statue, did not move at all. This made them feel that Yi Chenfeng was in big trouble and could not break through the heaven-grade Tao diagram in the Tao Insight tablet in a short period of time. However, they did not know that the God-Eater brain had already comprehended the heaven-grade Tao diagram in the Tao Insight tablet half a year ago, and Yi Chenfeng did not break through the Tao Insight tablet because he wanted to use the heaven-grade Tao diagram to improve his understanding of the Tao Insight. Very quickly, more than 2 years had passed. Yi Chenfeng seemed to be petrified as he held the Tao Insight tablet high, refining his body as he comprehended the heaven-grade Tao diagram. After the God-Eater brain's deduction time and time again, he had a new understanding of the Tao Insight. Although this understanding was not enough to elevate the Tao diagram, he had comprehended to the heaven-grade Tao diagram realm. What he was looking for now was an opportunity. When the time came, he believed that he would definitely be able to elevate the Tao diagram he had comprehended to the heaven-grade Tao diagram realm. Phew, it's time to break this Tao Insight tablet and enter the 9th level of the Pagoda of Trials. Yi Chenfeng calculated the time and found that he had stayed in the Pagoda of Trials for more than 4 years. Without further delay, a shocking force burst out from his arms and forcefully pushed the Tao Insight tablet into the air. In the next moment, the profound grade Tao diagram, whose power had increased by several times, entered the Tao Insight tablet like flowing water, crazily destroying the heaven-grade Tao diagram. Although Yi Chenfeng's 4 great profound grade Tao diagrams were still a far cry from the heaven-grade Tao diagrams, he had already seen through the heaven-grade Tao diagrams. He constantly shattered the heaven-grade Tao diagrams that formed the heaven-grade Tao diagrams, weakening the heaven-grade Tao diagrams' power. In next to no time, numerous clearly visible cracks split open on the surface of the Tao Insight tablet, and strands of terrifying energy of Tao Insight leaked out from within the Tao Insight tablet. In the end, Yi Chenfeng controlled the 4 great profound grade Tao diagrams to shatter the heaven-grade Tao diagram within the Tao Insight tablet, breaking the Tao Insight tablet. In the next moment, powerful Tao Insight gushed out from the Tao Insight tablet and crazily entered Yi Chenfeng's body. Under the sublimation of this powerful Tao Insight Tablet, Yi Qinfeng grasped the opportunity to improve the Tao Insight Tablet and improved the 5 elements profound grade Tao diagram to the heaven grade Tao diagram in one fell swoop. As soon as the Tao Insight Tablet improved, a powerful teleportation force enveloped him and sent him to the 9th level, where only 3 people in the history of the Misty Heaven sect had ever stepped into. Chapter 1596. Junior, you're really outstanding. You're much more outstanding than I expected. 8th? Chinese? 1. You have to know that no one has ever reached here in 4 years. You've created a new record in the ethereal heaven sect. When Yi Qinfeng entered the 9th floor, his vision blurred. An old man covered in white light appeared in front of him. This old man was the spirit of the heavenly trial tower. Thank you for your compliment, Senior. The reason why I was able to come here is because my bone age is younger than the others. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said in a tone that was neither arrogant nor humble. The younger the bone age, the easier the trial. For example, the heavenly souls that Yu Jianfeng and Shui Yishuan encountered in the heavenly trial tower were much stronger than the heavenly souls that Yi Qinfeng encountered. No, this has nothing to do with bone age. The artifact spirit in the form of an old man shook his head and said, to be able to break through to the Tao Emperor realm in less than 100 years of cultivation, this in itself is a reflection of your strength and talent. Perhaps you might really be able to defeat me in the remaining time and obtain the ultimate reward. May I know Senior's strength? The heavenly trial tower was unimaginably powerful. As the spirit of the tower, the old man's strength had probably reached an unimaginable level. With Yi Qinfeng's current strength, defeating him was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Without the power of the heavenly trial tower, I's strength is equivalent to a peak 6-star Tao Emperor. The old man said. Peak 6-star Tao Emperor. After knowing the old man's strength, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but gasp. Although he could kill a 3-star Tao Emperor with the help of the Golden Sword Soul, he had no chance against a peak 6-star Tao Emperor. Alright, Junior. There are still 5 years before the heavenly trial tower closes. During this time, you can challenge me as you wish. As long as you can defeat me in the remaining time, it will be considered a success. Also, you are not restricted in any way. You can use the treasures on you to cultivate. The old man said, Now, do you want to challenge me? Yes. Yi Qinfeng nodded. He wanted to test the old man's strength personally. Come. With his hands clasped behind his back, the old man stood quietly in the same place. There was no expression on his calm face. Phew, Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath. His grand mist blood, 3 sacred flames, and the sacred blood bead erupted. Shocking bloodline power fused into Yi Qinfeng's body, instantly raising his strength to the peak. In the next moment, the golden sword spirit flew out of his sea of soul and transformed into a golden divine sword. Misty Sword Scripture. Yi Qinfeng let out an explosive roar as a heaven-grade Tao diagram and 3 profound-grade Tao diagrams appeared around him. He raised his Tao will and physical strength to the peak and crazily infused them into the golden sword soul. He unleashed the ethereal true extreme sword and slashed at the spirit artifact elder, who was standing straight and not dodging. Even a 4-star Tao Emperor would have to avoid this attack, let alone a 3-star Tao Emperor. However, the old artifact spirit merely extended his aged right hand and placed it before him, blocking the ethereal true extremity sword that churned with the power of laws. Boom! When the ethereal true extreme sword slashed at the old artifact spirit's right hand, it instantly exploded with earth-shattering power, causing the space to fluctuate as it violently attacked the old artifact spirit's right hand. However, his right hand seemed to be refined from a supreme-grade true spirit saint artifact. The ethereal true extreme sword's explosive power couldn't harm it at all. In the next moment, the old artifact spirit's right hand exerted force, shattering the ethereal true extreme sword and striking out a palm at Yi Qinfeng. Under this palm, the space seemed to have frozen. The terrifying palm light seemed to have cut off the entire space as it carried terrifying power towards Yi Qinfeng's body. Spatial law cut off the space. In the face of the old artifact spirit's attack, Yi Qinfeng's hands quickly danced as he constantly cut off the space, trying to neutralize this terrifying palm print. However, the old artifact spirit's casual attack was too powerful. Yi Qinfeng's continuous cuts were easily shattered by this palm. He then used the temporal law, increasing the flow of time by 4 times. He used all his strength to attack and forcefully weaken the palm's power. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the artifact spirit's great palm imprint destroyed Yi Qinfeng's continuous attack. With one palm strike, Yi Qinfeng, who was defending with all his strength, was sent flying. He was thrown 1,000 meters away and heavily fell to the ground, suffering heavy injuries. So strong, this strength is too strong. I can't fight against him at all. Yi Qinfeng was deeply shocked by the old artifact spirit's strength. He felt that the old artifact spirit's strength was definitely more terrifying than the Black Rock Emperor's, so he gave up on the idea of using his life spirit technique. Junior, with your current strength, it's impossible to defeat I. Fortunately, you still have more than 5 years. Cultivate well, and remember to call me when you want to challenge again. After severely injuring Yi Qinfeng, the old artifact spirit didn't follow up with another attack. His body flashed and disappeared before Yi Qinfeng's eyes. Sigh, I'll just cultivate here for a while. Yi Qinfeng forced himself to sit up and communicated with the universe realm. As expected, the universe realm is no longer restricted. Sensing the existence of the universe realm, Yi Qinfeng was overjoyed. He immediately entered the universe realm and consumed a precious healing sacred item to heal his injuries. About 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng recovered from his injuries and came to the edge of the 2nd level of the universe realm. He was ready to try to open the 3rd level of the universe realm. If he could open the 3rd level of the universe realm and obtain the treasures left behind by the divine demons, he believed that he would be able to make a breakthrough in the remaining 5 years. When he used his life spirit technique, he felt that he still had a chance to defeat the old artifact spirit and obtain the final reward of the Sky Pagoda trial. Universe Realm Level 3 Open. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and controlled the golden Tao energy in his body to rush out of his body. It fused into the universe realm wall and tore it apart bit by bit. Under his unreserved efforts, the universe realm wall that restricted the 3rd level of the universe realm was shattered. With a thought, he successfully entered the 3rd level of the universe realm. 10 times the flow of time. After entering the 3rd level of the universe realm, Yi Qinfeng first felt that the flow of time here was 10 times that of the outside world. In other words, cultivating here for a year was equivalent to cultivating outside for 10 years. It completely solved the problem of his short cultivation time. I wonder what kind of treasures the divine demons left behind in this space. Yi Qinfeng closed his eyes. Through the control of the universe realm, he sensed the treasures left behind by the divine demons in the 3rd level of the universe realm. What a terrifying aura! What grade of weapon is this? After sensing for a while, Yi Qinfeng suddenly opened his eyes. With a thought, in the depths of the 3rd level of the universe realm, there was a huge sword that was 3 feet long and half a foot wide. The body of the sword was engraved with tens of thousands of mysterious engravings. It weighed a few 100 million jin and was stabbed into the ground. Gently stroking this huge sword that only a giant could wield, Yi Qinfeng immediately felt how terrifying this huge sword was. He had a feeling that this huge sword was most likely a supreme-grade True Spirit Saint artifact. Other than this incomparably huge True Spirit Saint artifact left behind by the divine demons, there were also many rare treasures that the divine demons had plundered from various planes. There were also Saint Beast cores and 2 ancient body-tempering Saint wood that were brimming with vitality. This is a high-grade True Spirit pellet. Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly found 2 extremely precious rank 3 true spirit pellets and more than 10 rank 2 true spirit saint pellets among the items left behind by the divine demons. 5 years in the outside world and 50 years in the universe realm. Let me cultivate in this universe realm for 50 years. Let's see what kind of realm I can reach after 50 years. Yi Chunfeng sent the 3 saint beasts and the Black Rock Emperor to the 3rd level of the universe realm and gave them a large amount of rare treasures and saint beast cores for them to cultivate in here. As for himself, he took out a rank 2 true spirit saint pellet and swallowed it into his stomach and began the longest period of secluded cultivation. P.S. Yi Chunfeng's picture over the weekend. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat. Y1TY83. Chapter 1597. He disappeared. Why did Yi Chunfeng suddenly disappear from the 9th level? Seeing Yi Chunfeng mysteriously disappear, Lord Shueshujun and the others revealed expressions of deep shock. 8th High. Literature Net? X1, X8, X1, X9. Could it be that he has a spatial treasure or a spatial cave? Yes, if Yi Chunfeng is a descendant of a void god realm expert, it's not strange for him to have a spatial treasure. Let's wait in silence and see if he can pass Elder Qi's test in the remaining time. Yu Xian's eyes flickered as he spoke. Time flew by and 3 years passed in a flash. In these 3 years, there were not many disciples left in the heavenly smelting pagoda. There were only a dozen people left. All of them had reached the 5th level and above. Their results were far better than 100 years ago. Among them, Yu Jianfeng, who was known as the #1 genius of the Misty Heaven sect, and Hua Shi Shuangshuang, who had the chance to step into the Daolord realm, entered the 7th level of the heavenly smelting pagoda and accepted the test of the Tao Intent Saint Crystal. As for Xia Wendi, he successfully stepped into the 6th level of the heavenly smelting pagoda and tried his best to kill king-level heavenly souls to increase his strength. At this time, Yi Chunfeng had been cultivating in the universe realm for more than 30 years. In these 30 years, Yi Chunfeng had refined a large amount of true spirit saint pills and cultivated to the limit of a 2-star Tao Emperor. He was only a step away from breaking through to the 3-star Tao Emperor realm. It's time to break through to the 3-star Tao Emperor realm. Feeling that his body was overflowing with golden Tao energy, Yi Chunfeng did not delay any longer. He consumed an extremely precious rank 3 true spirit saint pill and used the majestic medicinal power to break through to the 3-star Tao Emperor realm. After cultivating to the Tao Emperor realm, every breakthrough was very difficult. Fortunately, the God Fiend had left behind a large amount of treasures and true spirit saint pills in the 3rd level of the universe realm. In addition, Yi Chunfeng had sufficient time to cultivate. He spent close to 6 years and finally broke through the bottleneck to the 3-star Tao Emperor realm. After breaking through, Yi Chunfeng did not immediately come out of seclusion to challenge the artifact spirit. Instead, he went to the side of the 2 sacred wood-tempering trees and spat out the sacred fire. He melted the sacred wood branches bit by bit and absorbed them into his body to temper his body and break through to the arcane body perfection realm. The God Fiend's body was unparalleled, and what they loved the most were body-tempering sacred objects. The 2 body-tempering sacred wood that he had left behind in the universe realm were obtained by him after a narrow escape. He had never been willing to refine them, and now they were benefiting Yi Chunfeng. Soon, 5 years had passed in the outside world. Yi Chunfeng had been cultivating in the universe realm for a total of 50 years. In these 50 years, not only did he cultivate to the 3-star Tao Emperor realm, but he also cultivated his Xian body to the Great Circle realm. His physical body's strength was forcefully raised to 2 billion kilograms, surpassing an ordinary Xian-class holy beast. His physical body's toughness was also at the peak of the top-grade saint artifact. If he ignited his primordial bloodline to amplify his strength, he would be able to crush the strongest king-class sacred beasts and kill 4-star Tao emperors with just his physical body. I wonder if I can defeat the artifact spirit of the Tower of Trials with my current strength. Yi Chunfeng calculated the time. There were still a few months before the Tower of Trials closed. He stopped cultivating, left the universe realm, and came to the Tower of Trials. Senior, I would like to challenge you. Yi Chunfeng stood at the highest level of the Tower of Trials with his hands behind his back, and said loudly. 3-star Tao Emperor Jr., you have surprised me again. The artifact spirit stared at Yi Chunfeng and could easily sense his strength. He shook his head and couldn't help but sigh. Come, let me see your strength. Alright. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. His primordial bloodline, 3 sacred flames burned, and the sacred blood bead fused. He instantly reached the peak of the 4-star Tao Emperor realm, and his physical body's strength rose to 6 billion kilograms. The terrifying energy fluctuations caused the space around him to tremble violently. The moment Yi Chunfeng took a step forward, a thunderous sound came from beneath his feet. He was like a wild, ancient beast, exploding with heaven-shaking strength as he attacked the artifact spirit. What a powerful strength! Feeling Yi Chunfeng's explosive strength, the artifact spirit raised his brows and revealed a trace of surprise. He stretched out his aged right hand to meet the attack. Boom! Yi Chunfeng's fist landed on the artifact spirit's right palm. The terrifying strength shook the entire space. In the next moment, an unimaginable strength gushed out from the artifact spirit's right palm. It was so strong that it instantly destroyed the strength of Yi Chunfeng's fist. It caused his arm to tremble, and he lost control of his body. After forcing Yi Chunfeng back with a palm, the artifact spirit immediately waved his arm. A terrifying strength swept through the entire space, and the power of the Grand Tao slammed towards Yi Chunfeng. Misty Sword Codex, Misty Ancient Extreme Sword. Facing the power of the Grand Tao, Yi Chunfeng couldn't avoid it. He immediately deduced the Tao intent that he cultivated to the extreme. 4 Tao diagrams floated above his head, and he executed the second move of the Misty Sword Codex that he had just mastered. The sword contained boundless Tao intent. The sword could shatter the sun, moon, and stars. The sword slashed down, destroying everything. It forcefully slashed apart the artifact spirit's attack. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus suppressed the space. The moment Yi Chunfeng broke the artifact spirit's attack, the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus flew out from his body. 9 giant dragons appeared, suppressing the space, and bombarded the artifact spirit's attack. When the artifact spirit stretched out his hand and sent the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus flying, Yi Chunfeng suddenly sped up the flow of time by 4 times. He suddenly appeared in front of the artifact spirit and raised his attack speed to the limit. He instantly launched 3 consecutive attacks towards the artifact spirit's body. Although he had successfully struck the artifact spirit's body, Yi Chunfeng felt as if he had struck black iron. Not only was he unable to injure the artifact spirit's body, he couldn't even push him back a single step. Not bad, not bad. Compared to 5 years ago, your attack power has increased by dozens of times. Even if you can't defeat me, this harvest is enough to make others jealous. A terrifying power suddenly erupted from the old artifact spirit's body. Like a stormy sea, it bombarded Yi Chunfeng, shattering his body's defenses and sending him flying. He landed heavily on the ground several thousand meters away, almost losing his ability to fight. Although he was heavily injured, Yi Chunfeng's face revealed a trace of joy. During the close combat, the God-Eater brain had captured the source of the artifact spirit's power. If it hit the source of the artifact spirit's power, it might cause the artifact spirit's body to pause and weaken his combat power. Then, he would have a chance. Thinking of this, Yi Chunfeng struggled to get up. He quickly healed his injuries and prepared for the next challenge. 3 days later, Yi Chunfeng had basically recovered from his injuries and challenged the artifact spirit again. This time, Yi Chunfeng intended to confirm his guess. He didn't attack blindly, but kept circling around and stalling for time so that the God-Eater brain could sense the artifact spirit's power source on a deeper level. After the God-Eater brain's repeated deductions, it completely confirmed Yi Chunfeng's earlier perception. At that moment, the weapon spirit once again unleashed an earth-shattering power. Like a stormy sea, it swept towards Yi Chunfeng. The terrifying power directly destroyed his attack and sent him flying hundreds of meters away. He had almost lost all of his ability to fight. I think I should be able to defeat him without using the life spirit technique. Yi Chunfeng quickly took a healing pill and struggled to get up from the ground. As he healed, he thought of a plan to defeat the artifact spirit. Chapter 1598. As the day of the Heavenly Pagoda trial drew closer and closer, the geniuses of the Misty Heavens sect began to leave. 8th High. 1. X8. 1. After nearly 10 years of cultivation, everyone's strength had clearly increased. Among them, the peerless genius of the Misty Heavens sect, Hua Shi, had broken through to the 4-star Dao Emperor realm. As for Yu Jianfeng, he was only a step away from breaking through to the 5-star Dao Emperor realm. Master, where is Yi Chunfeng? What level did he reach? After successfully breaking through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm, Yu Lanxin left the Heavenly Trial Pagoda and saw Shui Piaomiao on the 1st level. She immediately walked over and asked about Yi Chunfeng's result. Yi Chunfeng is challenging Old Weapon on the 9th level. Even now, Shui Piaomiao still felt as if this was unreal. The 9th level of the Heavenly Trial Pagoda, this was undoubtedly a miracle. The 9th level, Yu Lanxin sucked in a breath of cold air, her cold face revealing an expression of disbelief. She was well aware of the difficulty of the Heavenly Trial Pagoda trial. She had spent 10 years to reach the 5th level of the Heavenly Trial Pagoda, and she was already very satisfied with this result. Yi Chunfeng reached the 9th level of the Heavenly Trial Pagoda? A cold voice sounded. As Shui Yishuan heard Shui Piaomiao's words, she slowly walked over. She wore a dark green dress and was even colder than Yu Lanxin. Yes, Yi Chunfeng ascended to the 9th level of the Pagoda of Trials 5 years ago, and he's challenging Elder Qi now. The Shui clan's patriarch, Shui Shujun, nodded. This Yi Chunfeng's talent is so amazing? Shui Yishuan's expression changed. Although she knew Yi Chunfeng wasn't simple, she didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so amazing. A sense of defeat appeared in her heart. Everyone come and watch. This Yi Chunfeng is going to challenge Old Weapon again. I wonder if he can defeat Old Weapon and pass the Heavenly Trial Pagoda. As the geniuses of the Misty Heavens sect were feeling disappointed by Yi Chunfeng's results, Yu Xian's voice sounded out, calling everyone to the trial mirror. They wanted to watch Yi Chunfeng challenge the Old Weapon spirit. Senior, I will continue. Yi Chunfeng slowly walked to the center of the 9 Heavenly Trial Pagoda, speaking neither arrogantly nor humbly. Good, make your move. The Old Weapon spirit walked out the Weapon Pagoda, appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng without a trace of emotion. 9 Dragon Jade Wall, suppress. Yi Chunfeng used his 3 trump cards and instantly raised his strength to the peak. Then, he summoned the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. He controlled the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus to continuously expand and suppress the old artifact spirit. The Heavenly Trial Pagoda, the old artifact spirit did not move, allowing it to transform into a heavenly wall. The Jade Wall spirits the wall Jade Wall Yin Yinian. The moment the Jade Wall fell, 9 deadly dragons flew out of the Jade Wall and danced in front of the old weapon spirit's eyes, distracting him. When the artifact spirit took a step forward and exploded with a shocking power, shattering the 9 deadly dragons, Yi Chunfeng suddenly appeared in front of him with sword steps. His incomparably sharp sword wings danced quickly, attacking the artifact spirit's arms. I said, the Heavenly Trial Pagoda is useless against me. The old weapon spirit allowed the sword wings to slash at his arms. Golden Sword Spirit, attack! Just when the old weapon spirit was careless, the Golden Sword Spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's Sea of Soul and attacked the old weapon spirit's lower abdomen. That was the source of his strength. And, sensing the Golden Sword Spirit's attack, the old weapon spirit's expression changed slightly, and he instinctively wanted to dodge. However, Yi Qinfeng's attack speed was even faster. He instantly transformed into his true spirit form and continuously unleashed the true spirit fighting dragon fist, bombarding the old man. While the old man's body was shaking, it also took away his energy. The Golden Sword Spirit stabbed into the old weapon spirit's abdomen. The Golden Sword Spirit's astonishing strength instantly pierced through the old weapon spirit's body and attacked the source of his strength. With the source of his strength attacked, the old weapon spirit's attack was immediately affected, and the strength in his body was thrown into chaos. 4 great Tao diagrams fuse. The Golden Sword Spirit's attack was effective. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the 4 profound Tao diagrams to transform into a sea of Tao intent and crazily fused with the Golden Sword Spirit, increasing its attack power. Disregarding his own safety, he circled behind the old weapon spirit and stretched out his arms to wrap around the old weapon spirit's body. His bold action stunned Yu Xian, Shui Piaomiao, and the others who were watching through the trial mirror. Has Yi Qinfeng gone mad? He's actually using his body to lock weapon spirit. Isn't he afraid that weapon spirit's strength will shatter his body and destroy it? Yes, although his talent is extraordinary, weapon spirit won't be merciful just because of his talent. Pavilion Master, do you think Xingfeng will be fine? The pale Xia Wendy cast her gaze toward Shui Piaomiao and asked nervously. I don't know either. Shui Piaomiao shook her head and said, but Xingfeng isn't a reckless person. He won't joke around with his life. He should have some confidence in doing this. As she spoke, a heaven-shaking strength erupted from weapon spirit's body. Like an erupting volcano, it bombarded Yi Qinfeng's body and blocked the Golden Sword Spirit's attack. After cultivating his profound body to the Great Circle Realm, Yi Qinfeng's body was comparable to a top-grade saint artifact. In addition to his Grand Mist bloodline's amplification, his physical body had nearly reached the level of a low-grade true spirit saint artifact. The weapon spirit's explosive strength had only cracked his body, but it hadn't been able to destroy his physical body. And under the Golden Sword Spirit's attack, the weapon spirit's abdomen was constantly injured. The Golden Sword Spirit's attack had pierced through his source of strength bit by bit. Heavens, weapon spirit's explosive strength actually didn't shatter his body. Could this brat's physical body surpass a top-grade saint artifact? This Yi Qinfeng is too frightening. Perhaps he really is related to the dragon race. Thinking that a human's physical body wouldn't be as frightening as Yi Qinfeng's, Yu Xian also felt that Yi Qinfeng was related to the dragon race. It was extremely likely that he was a descendant of a dragon race supreme elder. Brat, are you not afraid of death? If you continue to lock me up like this, don't blame me for shattering your body. As Yi Qinfeng firmly locked down his body, the weapon spirit's source of strength was continuously being attacked, and he angrily warned Lin Ming. Senior is strong, but when your source of strength is being attacked, I'm afraid you won't be able to use your full strength. If you want to shatter my body, I'm afraid it won't be that easy, Yi Qinfeng stubbornly said. He continued to explode with over 6 billion genes of strength, firmly locking down the weapon spirit's body and creating opportunities for the Golden Sword Spirit to attack. Good, then I want to see just how long you can last. As the weapon spirit spoke, he continued to explode with heaven-shaking strength, attacking Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to shatter Yi Qinfeng's body, but Yi Qinfeng's physical body was too strong. The weapon spirit's continuous attacks were simply unable to shatter his body. And the weapon spirit's abdomen was continuously attacked by the Golden Sword Spirit, causing cracks to appear all over his body. This directly damaged his source of strength, causing him to be increasingly alarmed. Seeing his source of strength being pierced by the golden sword spirit, the weapon spirit was still unable to shatter Yi Qianfeng's body. The weapon spirit sighed inwardly and said, "Junior, stop attacking. You've won this match." "Thank you, Senior." Yi Qianfeng, who was covered in blood, revealed a faint smile. He withdrew the golden sword spirit and sat down on the ground, gasping for breath. Chapter 1599. He won. Yi Qianfeng really defeated Elder Qi and passed the trial. Heavens, I didn't expect him to really make history and learn the ultimate reward of the Heavenly Pagoda trial. With his physical strength, he will probably last longer than the primogenitor. 8th lunar month Z. Yu Xian and the others were shocked when they saw Yi Qianfeng defeat the old artifact spirit and pass the trial. They were shocked by Yi Qianfeng's strength. Even Yu Xian wasn't confident in winning against the artifact spirit. "Junior, get ready. Let me know when you are ready. I will give you the ultimate reward. Accept the infusion of heavenly soul energy." However, how much heavenly soul energy your body can withstand will depend on the strength of your physical body and willpower, the old artifact spirit said slowly as he looked at Yi Qianfeng, who was covered in bloody scars and severely injured. "Thank you, Senior." Yi Qianfeng took a deep breath and sat cross-legged on the ground. He swallowed a saint pill and quickly adjusted his breathing to recover from his injuries. "Sect Master, this Yi Qianfeng's talent is too amazing. I think his strength will increase further after the infusion of heavenly soul force. How are you going to treat him?" Xue Shujun stared at Yi Qianfeng, who was sitting cross-legged and healing himself. He completely believed that as long as there were no accidents, he would definitely amaze everyone. Yu Xian looked at Xue Piaomiao and slowly said, "No matter how much his strength increases, he is still a disciple of the Bishue Celestial Pavilion. I think Piaomiao will help him settle down." Xue Piaomiao cupped her fists and promised softly, "Rest assured, Sect Master. Piaomiao will definitely help Yi Qianfeng settle down." Everyone wanted to know how long Yi Qianfeng could withstand the infusion of heavenly soul force and how much his strength would increase. No one left the heavenly pagoda and waited patiently. After about 2 days, Yi Qianfeng had completely recovered from his injuries. He woke up from his recuperation and found the artifact spirit elder. He said, "Senior, I am ready. I can accept the heavenly soul energy infusion." "Alright, come with me." With that, the artifact spirit took a step forward and tore through space. He brought Yi Qianfeng through a space gate and arrived at the highest point of the heavenly smelting tower. There, he saw an energy ball that flashed with lightning. "Junior, in the history of the Misty Heaven sect, only 2 people have completed the ultimate challenge, and one of them is you. However, I have high hopes for you. I believe that you can hold on for more than 3 days and break the ultimate record." Thinking of Yi Qianfeng's mortal body that was comparable to a low-grade true spirit saint artifact, the old artifact spirit felt that he could last for at least 5 days and obtain endless benefits. Junior will do his best to persevere. Yi Qianfeng was also aware of the benefits of having the heavenly soul power flowing through his body. Thus, he spoke resolutely. "Alright, go in. How long you can last will depend on your willpower." The old artifact spirit nodded and opened the restriction, allowing Yi Qianfeng to walk into the shining energy ball. Crackle, crackle. In the next moment, Yi Qianfeng felt the entire energy ball explode with terrifying energy lightning. A loud roar reverberated in his ears. Boundless energy lightning brought with it a violent force that flowed through Yi Qianfeng's pores and rushed into his body. Although the process was extremely painful, Yi Qianfeng's physical body was too strong. In addition, he had an unyielding heart. Thus, he completely endured the pain. He quickly circulated the soul-devouring art and refined the heavenly soul power that flowed into his body, increasing his strength quickly. Yes, the Chaos Divine Wood. The Chaos Divine Wood is also absorbing the heavenly soul power. As Yi Chunfeng was refining the heavenly soul power that flowed into his body, he realized that the chaos divine wood was also rapidly absorbing the heavenly soul power and transforming bit by bit. If the chaos divine wood and I devour, I wonder if the heavenly soul power that the heavenly smelting tower has accumulated for countless years will be sucked dry. Yi Chunfeng knew how powerful the chaos divine wood was. If the chaos divine wood was allowed to devour freely, it would definitely suck the heavenly smelting tower dry. Days passed by. Yi Chunfeng was like a bottomless pit as he continued to refine the heavenly soul power that flowed into his body. On the third day, the golden Tao power in his body was overflowing. The bottleneck of his cultivation level also started to loosen. After 3 days of devouring, the chaos divine wood grew a little thicker. Large amounts of 5-colored divine leaves grew, and its strength increased exponentially. It has been 3 days. This Yi Chunfeng has indeed surpassed the ancestors. Yes, this Yi Chunfeng is too heaven-defying. I really don't know where his limits are. Yu Xian and the others waited for 3 days. When they realized that Yi Chunfeng was completely immersed in the devouring process and didn't show any signs of stopping, they couldn't help but sigh. Suddenly, they realized that Yi Chunfeng's body was emitting rays of golden light. They guessed that Yi Chunfeng should have broken through his cultivation level. A 4-star Tao Emperor. He broke through again so quickly. Sensing that his strength had increased, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. Relying on his powerful physical body, he continued to endure the heavenly soul power flowing into his body. Soon, another 5 days passed. It has been 8 days. Why doesn't Yi Chunfeng have any limits? Is his body a bottomless pit? Although Yi Chunfeng's physical body was powerful, the heavenly soul power flowing into his body was extremely terrifying. Even a 6-star Tao Emperor wouldn't be able to endure it. However, Yi Chunfeng endured it for 8 days and was still immersed in it. Not only did he not show any signs of pain, but he even looked relaxed. However, they didn't know that Yi Chunfeng could endure it for so long because most of the heavenly soul power that flowed into his body had been devoured by the chaos divine wood. He only absorbed 1/3 of it. 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 25 days, as everyone waited numbly, Yi Chunfeng allowed the heavenly soul power to flow into his body for close to a month. Although he was afraid that continuous breakthroughs would cause his cultivation foundation to be unstable, he had been bitterly suppressing his cultivation base. However, the heavenly soul power flowing into his body was too terrifying. After a month of refining and absorbing, the golden Tao power in his body was overflowing. His foundation was also very solid. Feeling that he was unable to suppress his cultivation base, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. He controlled the golden soul power to break through the bottleneck that was full of cracks and broke through to the 5-star Tao Emperor realm. Yi Chunfeng didn't expect to break through to the 5-star Tao Emperor realm so soon after ascending to the heaven region. Even if he didn't manage to obtain the ancient secret from the Misty Heaven sect, his harvest in the heavenly smelting pagoda was enough. Not long after Yi Chunfeng broke through, the chaos divine wood suddenly shot out a 5-colored divine light. It passed through Yi Chunfeng's body and permeated the energy ball. 5-colored divine light. What kind of saint art is Yi Chunfeng cultivating? Why is his body shooting out 5-colored divine light? How many secrets are hidden in his body? Seeing Yi Chunfeng's 5-colored divine light becoming more and more intense, Yu Xian and the others were once again shocked. Even the arrogant Yu Jianfeng, Hua Shi, and the others were subdued by his heaven-defying talent. The Chaos Divine Wood has finally transformed again. After sensing the Chaos Divine Wood's transformation, it grew a little taller. The lush treetop was covered with 5-colored divine leaves. The chaos power in the tree was even stronger, and its power was far beyond the green Luan sacred bough. It had reached a level that Yi Chunfeng couldn't reach. Junior, enough is enough. If you continue to cultivate, the heavenly soul power in the heavenly smelting pagoda will be sucked dry by you. Just as Yi Chunfeng was refining the heavenly soul power and sensing the changes in the chaos divine wood, the old artifact spirit's voice entered his ears. I'm sorry, Senior. Junior was a little greedy. I'll come out now. Although Yi Chunfeng still wanted to continue cultivating, the old artifact spirit had spoken. He could only give up and stop devouring. With a move, he left the energy ball that was much dimmer than before. Chapter 1600. Junior, just how many secrets are you hiding? The old artifact spirit looked at Yi Chunfeng, who had broken through 2 realms, as if he wanted to see through him. 8th grade high. Literature net? Equals less than or equal to is almost equal to. If a normal person absorbed heavenly soul force for more than a month, their strength would have reached the peak of a 6-star Tao Emperor or stepped into the Tao Lord realm. However, Yi Chunfeng had only risen from a 3-star Tao Emperor to a 5-star Tao Emperor. This made the old artifact spirit guess that Yi Chunfeng was hiding a huge secret. However, with such a foundation, it would be easy for him to kill enemies above his level. This junior is indeed hiding some secrets. However, Senior can rest assured that this junior has no ulterior motives towards the ethereal heaven sect. If there is a chance in the future, this junior will repay this favor. Yi Chunfeng said vaguely. Good, these words are enough. The old artifact spirit said, let's go. I will send you out of here. As he spoke, the old artifact spirit gently waved his arm and opened a portal, sending Yi Chunfeng out of the heavenly trial tower's 9th floor. Chingfeng, you are out. Shui Piaomiao saw Yi Chunfeng, who was wearing a white robe, walking out of the spatial domain gate in high spirits. She immediately walked up to him and said, Sect Master wants to see you. Come with me to greet him. Okay. Yi Chunfeng nodded and followed Shui Piaomiao to Yu Xian. Yu Xian looked at the outstanding Yi Chunfeng and praised, Yi Chunfeng, you have given us a huge surprise. The rise of the ethereal heaven sect depends on you. Chingfeng will remember the kindness of the ethereal heaven sect. In the future, I will bring glory to the ethereal heaven sect. Yi Chunfeng promised softly. Good, good. Although Yi Chunfeng was not a top expert in the heaven realm, Yu Xian and the others saw a bright future in him. Yu Xian and the others were gratified and happy to receive his promise. Chingfeng, this token is for you. With this token, you can come and go anywhere in the ethereal heaven sect. Yu Xian took out a guest elder token and handed it to Yi Chunfeng. Thank you, sect master. Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed with this token. With this token, he could slowly search for the secret realm hidden in the ethereal heaven sect. Alright, the 10-year trial of the heavenly pagoda is over. Everyone, return to your respective palaces and continue cultivating. The future of the misty heaven sect depends on you all. Yu Xian did not expose Yi Chunfeng's identity, nor did he give him too many rewards. Let's go, Chingfeng. When we return to the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion, I have something to say to you. Shui Piaomiao led Yi Chunfeng, Xiao Wendy, Yu Lanxin, and the others back to the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion after bidding farewell to Yu Xian and the others. Chingfeng, thank you. I really didn't think that your arrival would solve my greatest crisis and allow me to sit in the position of Snow Palace Master. Shui Piaomiao stared at Yi Chunfeng. Thinking of his age, Shui Piaomiao felt as if she were in a dream. Pavilion Master is too polite. You and I both come from the Soul Battle Continent and you have taken care of me. I should repay you. Yi Chunfeng faintly smiled and said in a neither arrogant nor humble manner. Chingfeng, are you really from the Soul Battle Continent? Shui Piaomiao suddenly asked as she thought of Yu Xian's guess about Yi Chunfeng's identity. Pavilion Master, what do you mean by that? Yi Chunfeng's heart stirred as he vaguely grasped some information. Nothing, I'm just curious about your identity. Shui Piaomiao shook her head and didn't think too deeply about it. Chingfeng, your strength has already surpassed mine. From now on, I won't restrict you. But if there comes a day when my Misty Heaven sect is in trouble, I ask that you help us. Don't worry, Pavilion Master. Although I haven't been in the Misty Heaven sect for long, this is still my first home in the Heaven Realm. I naturally won't let anything happen here. Yi Chunfeng nodded and promised. Alright, go back and rest. If you have any needs, just tell me. If I can't satisfy them, I will ask Patriarch Shui and the sect master to help you. Shui Piamiao said. Alright. Yi Chunfeng nodded and left the Azure Snow Pavilion. He met up with Xia Wendy, who was waiting outside the pavilion, and returned to the White Cliff courtyard. Little mosquito, there's something wrong with your eyes. Why are you looking at me like that? Don't tell me you've been completely mesmerized by me and want to seduce me again? After returning to the White Cliff courtyard, Yi Chunfeng noticed that there was something wrong with Xia Wendy's eyes and joked. Yi Chunfeng, don't tell me you're a monster in disguise. Xia Wendy did not get angry. Instead, she circled Yi Chunfeng 3 times. Have you ever seen such a handsome monster? Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. Bah, only you can be handsome. I think that toad is not bad. Xia Wendy rolled her eyes at Yi Chunfeng. After saying that, she chuckled. Clearly, she was in a good mood after touching the realm of a 2-star Tao Emperor. As the night grew deeper, the Misty Heaven sect gradually regained its peace. After stabilizing his cultivation, Yi Chunfeng returned to the universe realm with a thought. Then, he summoned Demon Ba out of the ancient bronze coffin. Seals open. After breaking through to the realm of a 5-star Tao Emperor, Yi Chunfeng had the strength to break the seals on Demon Ba's body. He forcefully undid the 2 seals on his body. In the next moment, endless devil chi burst out from Mo Ba's body. This devil chi directly dyed the universe realm space within several miles black, disturbing the Black Rock Emperor, who was refining the life-severing ancestral root with all his strength and breaking through to the 1-star Demon Master realm. A 1-star Demon Lord. Young Master Yi, this Demon Ba that you subdued has actually reached the 1-star Demon Lord realm. Sensing the terrifying demonic aura from Demon Ba's body, the Black Rock Emperor revealed a shocked expression. Not only was the Black Rock Emperor shocked, even Yi Chunfeng revealed a shocked expression. Because according to Yi Wuji, Demon Ba's strongest strength should be at the peak of a 6-star Tao Emperor. However, he didn't expect that after breaking the 3 seals on Demon Ba's body, he would reach the 1-star Tao Lord realm. However, with Demon Ba's existence, there weren't many people in the entire heaven region who could injure him. Alright, Demon Ba, continue sleeping. If I need you, I'll call for you. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng sealed Demon Ba back into the ancient bronze coffin. Blackrock, how much longer do you need to break through to the 1-star Demon Lord realm? Yi Chunfeng asked. The Black Rock Emperor pondered for a moment and said, in this space where the time flow is 10 times faster, about a year. Sigh, Blackrock, your cultivation speed is really slow. I'm almost catching up to you. Yi Chunfeng sighed lightly and revealed his true strength before the Black Rock Emperor. 5-star Tao Emperor. Young Master Yi, you've broken through to the 5-star Tao Emperor realm? Sensing Yi Chunfeng's strength, the Black Rock Emperor sucked in a breath of cold air. He was disappointed by Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying cultivation speed. Yi Chunfeng said, Black Rock, spar with me for a while. I've broken through too quickly and still need to temper myself. Alright. The Black Rock Emperor nodded and started to spar with Yi Chunfeng in the universe realm. Although the Black Rock Emperor's cultivation realm is higher than Yi Chunfeng's, Yi Chunfeng has cultivated the arcane body realm to the Great Circle. His physical body is comparable to a top-grade saint artifact. In addition, he has broken through to the 5-star Tao Emperor realm. His physical body's strength has reached an astonishing 2.5 billion gene. With the amplification of the 5 elements heavenly Tao diagram, Yi Chunfeng burned his primordial blood to fight with the Black Rock Emperor and did not fall into a disadvantage. The 2 of them fought more and more fiercely. They used all their skills and attacked for about 5 days. Neither of them could do anything to the other. In the end, both of them were exhausted and fell to the ground. Although Yi Qinfeng did not defeat the Black Rock Emperor, his astonishing battle strength and endurance convinced the Black Rock Emperor. After resting for a while, the Black Rock Emperor, who was deeply affected, once again immersed himself in cultivation. This time, he vowed to break through to the one-star Demon Lord realm as soon as possible. P.S. Sorry for the long wait, everyone. Also, Yi Qinfeng's picture on Sunday, don't miss it. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat, Y1TY83. Chapter 1601. Time passed day by day. English? Web? Z? A year had passed since the Sky Pagoda trial. Yi Qinfeng had been traveling around the Misty Mountain with the guest elder token, using the God-Eater brain to deduce the location of the mystic realm. However, the Misty Mountain was too big, and there were many restrictions in the mountain. Yi Qinfeng was afraid of exposing his secret, so he did not dare to search a large area. He could only search slowly. Finally, his efforts paid off. After searching for more than a year, he found something strange in the valley at the bottom of the Preaching Cliff. The space here is a little unstable. After the God-Eater brain's deduction, Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. He looked at the dark valley in the distance that was covered by restrictions and decided to sneak in to take a look. Yi Qinfeng, why are you here? When Yi Qinfeng approached the dark valley, the restrictions around the dark valley fluctuated, and a tall woman wearing a black martial arts suit with a graceful figure walked out of the restrictions. When she saw Yi Qinfeng, she was obviously stunned. What a coincidence, Senior Sister Shui, I didn't expect to see you here. Yi Qinfeng was startled. He didn't think that he would run into the frosty yet beautiful Shui Yixian here. In order to catch up with you, I have been cultivating in the black hole of death for more than a year. Recently, I have comprehended something, so I want to go back and cultivate for a while to try to break through to the 5-star Dao Emperor realm. Shui Yishuan said softly, with a hint of warmth in her voice. Black hole of death. Yi Qinfeng's heart skipped a beat and he said, Senior Sister Shui, can I enter the black hole of death to train for a few days? If others have to pay a large amount of contribution points, but you have the guest elder token given by the sect leader, so you should be able to enter directly. Shui Yishuan said, Let's go, I will take you to meet the true elder. When the time comes, you only need to show the true elder the token, and you can enter the black hole of death to cultivate. After saying that, Shui Yishuan made several complicated hand seals, opened the restrictions, and led Yi Qinfeng inside. Senior Sister, what is in this black hole of death? How did it form? Yi Qinfeng asked. I don't know how the black hole of death is formed, but the black hole of death is filled with a large number of dead spirit. When you cultivate inside, not only do you have to resist the corrosion of the death chi, you also have to kill the dead spirit. The death chi will force out your potential bit by bit. This is the benefit of cultivating inside the black hole of death, Shui Yixian said without hiding anything. Then Senior Sister Shui, have you ever reached the end of the black hole of death? Yi Qinfeng continued to ask. This time, I reached the end of the black hole of death, but I was forced back by several extremely powerful restrictive sword shadows, Shui Yixian continued. Forbidden sword shadow. Shui Yishuan's words further confirmed Yi Qinfeng's guess that the ancient mystery of the Misty Heaven sect was most likely hidden at the end of the black hole of death. While talking, Shui Yixian led Yi Qinfeng to the black hole of death, which was sealed with several layers of restrictive spells. They saw an old man who had been guarding the black hole of death for countless years. His hair was white, his face was full of wrinkles, and there was not a trace of Dao energy fluctuation on his body. True Elder, Junior Brother Yi wants to enter the black hole of death to cultivate. Shui Yixian bowed deeply to the old man in a very respectful manner. Junior Brother Yi? Yi Qinfeng? The old man in gray clothes looked at Yi Qinfeng with his cloudy eyes. That's me. Yi Chunfeng cupped his fists and said, I heard that you are the #1 genius of the Misty Heaven sect. I wonder if you dare to take a palm strike from me? If you can take a palm strike from me, I will allow you to enter the black hole of death to cultivate as you wish. The true elder said, Senior, if you wish, I will do my best to accompany you. Yi Chunfeng said with neither arrogance nor humility. Good, 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 you be careful. The true elder revealed a rare smile. A powerful Tao energy gushed out from his body and directly tore open the clothes on his body. In the next moment, the true elder, who was sitting cross-legged, quickly made several complicated hand seals. They condensed into a powerful giant hand seal that shook the space and shattered the layers of air as it bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Misty Ancient Extreme Sword. Feeling that the true elder's giant hand seal was filled with a terrifying and suffocating power, 4 offensive Tao diagrams appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body. He instantly deduced the 4 Tao diagrams to the extreme and slashed out a sword that seemed to have come from ancient times. It was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. It was so close to the true elder's giant hand seal. Boom! The sword and the palm collided, and 2 terrifying Tao energy instantly exploded in the void. 3 breaths later, the misty ancient extreme sword that Yi Chunfeng had used could not withstand the destructive power of the giant hand seal and began to shatter inch by inch. After shattering Yi Chunfeng's misty ancient extreme sword, the fragmented giant hand seal viciously slammed into Yi Chunfeng's body, forcefully pushing him back 3 steps. Impressive. I never thought that you would be able to cultivate the second move of the Misty Sword Codex at your age. Compared to you, I really am old. Although Yi Chunfeng had been pushed back, the true elder was not stingy with his praise. This was because he felt that Yi Chunfeng had not used his full strength in that attack, and the toughness of his physical body had exceeded his expectations. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the roiling blood in his body as he asked softly, True Elder, may I enter now? Yes, you can come whenever you want in the future. I allow you to enter unconditionally to cultivate. The true elder nodded and said, Thank you, Senior. Yi Chunfeng said gratefully, Senior sister, I will go in to cultivate. Do you want me to accompany you in to cultivate? Shui Yishuan, who was as cold as ice, suddenly revealed a charming expression like a little girl and asked softly, No need, I want to cultivate by myself. Although Shui Yishuan was very beautiful, enough to make many men willingly kneel before her, the ancient secret was more attractive to Yi Chunfeng. He shook his head and tactfully refused. Forget it, I won't force you if you don't want to. However, if I want to spar with you in the future, you can't refuse. Shui Yishuan was not angry and said softly, No problem, Senior sister can come and spar with me at any time in the future. Yi Chunfeng nodded and promised. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng walked into the restriction opened by the true elder and into the black hole of death. Whoosh! After entering the black hole of death, Yi Chunfeng immediately increased his speed to the limit. He ignored the surging death force and the ferocious-looking dead spirits' attacks and rushed towards the end of the black hole of death at an extremely fast speed. As he went deeper, the death force in the black hole of death became stronger and stronger, constantly eroding Yi Chunfeng's body. However, Yi Chunfeng had refined a dead spirit pearl in his body. With the help of the dead spirit pearl, Yi Chunfeng easily dispelled the death force in his body. As for the undead spirits that tried to stop him, they were directly crushed by the power of over 2 billion kilograms exploding from his body. After about half a day, Yi Chunfeng, who was moving at an extremely fast speed, appeared at the end of the black hole of death and found the heavy restriction that Shui Yishuan had mentioned. When he reached out and touched the restriction that sealed the end of the black hole of death, the restriction trembled violently and turned into several extremely powerful restriction sword slashes, slashing towards Yi Chunfeng at an extremely fast speed. However, Yi Chunfeng was no longer the same as before. These extremely powerful restriction sword slashes posed no threat to him. Yi Chunfeng summoned the golden sword spirit and surrounded his body, shattering the restriction sword slashes. God-Eater Brain, break the restriction! When the golden sword spirit broke the restriction, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater Brain to deduce and decipher the various restrictions at the end of the black hole of death. After about a day of hard work, the God-Eater Brain finally deduced the truth of the various restrictions. Yi Chunfeng held the mid-grade True Saint artifact Heavenly Fault Sacred Sword and fused with the golden sword spirit. With a fierce thrust, he pierced through several restrictions and arrived at the end of the black hole of death. Chapter 1602. What kind of space is this? After reaching the end of the black hole of death, Yi Chunfeng suddenly found himself in a pitch-black space. He hurriedly controlled the God-Eater Brain to deduce and sense the reality of this pitch-black space. 8.1. Chinese network equals is not equal to is almost equal to. Is almost equal to 8 is equal to 1 is not equal to z equals greater than or equal. Greater than or equal to com. What a mysterious space. It actually suppressed the God-Eater Brain's deduction. When Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater Brain to deduce, he found that the God-Eater Brain's deduction ability was suppressed by a mysterious force in this pitch-black space. It couldn't deduce the reality of this space for a moment. However, Yi Chunfeng wasn't in a hurry. He sat cross-legged in the pitch-black space and controlled the God-Eater Brain to deduce again and again. 2 days quickly passed. Under Yi Chunfeng's persistent deduction, the God-Eater Brain captured an extremely weak energy fluctuation in the pitch-black space. It was very difficult to detect it. In the next moment, the golden sword soul flew out of Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul and attacked this energy fluctuation at an extremely fast speed. Chi. After being attacked by the golden sword soul, this energy fluctuation trembled for a moment. The God-Eater Brain used this energy fluctuation to sense an independent space. As expected, there's a secret in this black hole of death. Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his eyes and quickly appeared at the energy fluctuation. With a thought, he summoned the transformed Chaos Divine Wood and controlled it to attack this fluctuating space. Boom boom! The Chaos Divine Wood had devoured a large amount of heavenly soul power and had transformed to an unimaginable level. Under the attacks of the Chaos Divine Wood and the Golden Sword Soul, the cracks in the fluctuating space became bigger and bigger. Yi Chunfeng could clearly sense the aura of the mysterious space. Finally, under Yi Chunfeng's continuous attacks, the extremely tough space wall shattered. Yi Chunfeng's body flashed and entered the mysterious space. Stone doors, what 2 huge stone doors! After entering the mysterious space, Yi Chunfeng immediately took out 2 moonlight stones and used them to illuminate the entire space. He checked his surroundings. Right now, in this mysterious space, there were 2 towering stone doors that were as tall as mountains. They disappeared into the darkness. I don't think I've found the wrong place. The ancient mystery that Father was talking about is behind this stone door. Yi Chunfeng slowly walked in front of the towering stone door. He took a deep breath and stimulated the power of his 5 acupoints, pushing his physical strength to the limit. He then pushed one of the stone doors with all his might. Activating the power of his 5 acupuncture points, Yi Chunfeng's physical strength instantly increased to 2.5 billion jin. However, when he poured it into the stone door, he couldn't move it at all. However, Yi Chunfeng did not give up. He took a deep breath and instantly ignited his primordial bloodline, instantly increasing his strength by 3 times. He also deduced his Tao will to the extreme and pushed the stone door with all his might, wanting to push it open. However, this stone door was too heavy. Yi Chunfeng raised his physical strength to 7.5 billion jin, but he was still unable to move the stone door an inch. Black Rock Emperor, Demon Ba, the 2 saint beasts come out. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned his 4 helpers to help him push open the 2 terrifying stone doors. The Demon Ba was a 1-star demon lord, and the Black Rock Emperor was only a hair's breadth away from becoming a one-star demon lord. In addition to the Chaos God Beast and the Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, they could even move a towering divine mountain. However, even with their combined strength, they were still unable to move these two stone doors. After bitterly trying several times, Yi Chunfeng could only give up. "Young Master Yi, I believe that these stone doors cannot be pushed open with brute force. There must be some other mystery behind them." The Black Rock Emperor carefully observed the two stone doors for a while and found a palm-sized groove next to the stone doors. It seems that if I want to enter here, I must find the key to open these two stone doors." Yi Chunfeng gently stroked the groove beside the stone door, memorizing the shape of the groove. Then, he summoned the Black Rock Emperor, Demonic Ba, and the two holy beasts back into the universe realm. He left this mysterious space and prepared to go to the treasure pavilion to try his luck. "You're out so soon?" Seeing Yi Chunfeng leave after only a few days of training in the Black Hole of Death, Elder Zhen revealed a trace of doubt. "I'm preparing to go into seclusion for a few days. I'll disturb Elder Zhen another day." Yi Chunfeng casually made up an excuse. "All right, Elder, I said that the Black Hole of Death is open to you unconditionally. You can come whenever you want." Elder Zhen nodded and said. After bidding farewell to Elder Zhen, Yi Chunfeng summoned a red-crowned crane and rode it directly to the treasure pavilion of the Ethereal Heaven sect to look for the key to open the secret realm. However, he used his identity to search the entire treasure pavilion of the Ethereal Heaven sect, but to no avail. Where should I go to find the key to open the secret realm? The secret realm was too far away from the present. Wanting to find the key to open the secret realm was like looking for a needle in a haystack. However, the temptation of the ancient mystery was too great. Yi Chunfeng could not give up. Yi Chunfeng. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to leave the treasure pavilion regretfully, he heard a pleasant-sounding female voice in his ear. She was wearing a colorful long dress. Her skin was as smooth as milk, and her delicate face revealed a hint of playfulness. Yu Jianfeng, who had a tall and straight figure and exuded a strong sword intent, walked over slowly like a divine general. "Senior brother Yu, senior sister Hua." Yi Chunfeng looked at the two peerless geniuses of the Ethereal Heaven sect and smiled. "Yi Chunfeng, senior brother Yu and I would like to compete with you. I wonder if you'll accept?" She blinked her beautiful big eyes and looked at Yi Chunfeng's handsome face. "Sure, but regardless of the outcome, can the two of you help me find something?" Thinking of the two's identity, Yi Chunfeng came up with a plan. If they were willing to help, the chances of him finding the key to open the secret realm from the Ethereal Heaven sect would be greatly increased. "What are you looking for?" Yu Jianfeng said with a hint of sharpness in his voice. "An antique I saw in an ancient book. I'm more interested in it." Yi Chunfeng said. "Sure, you fight with us, and I'll help you find the antique." Yu Jianfeng wanted to compete with Yi Chunfeng to see who was the real #1 genius of the Ethereal Heaven sect. As for the antique mentioned by Yi Chunfeng, he was also interested and wanted to find it for himself to study. "Let's go to the battle arena." Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any time and immediately went to the battle arena with Yu Jianfeng and Hua Shi, ready to compete. The news about the battle between the three of them spread like wildfire across the entire Misty Heaven sect. Many disciples of the Misty Heaven sect rushed to the battle arena, wanting to see the battle between the top 3 geniuses of the Misty Heaven sect. "Who wants to challenge me first?" Yi Chunfeng's body flashed and appeared on the battle arena like a bolt of lightning, exuding a domineering aura. "Senior brother Yu, let this little sister go first." Hua Shi's beautiful big eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit as she said eagerly. "Okay." Yu Jianfeng nodded. "Thank you, senior brother Yu." A faint smile appeared on Hua Shi's pretty face. With a light tap of her toes, she landed lightly on the arena like a blooming rose. Although Hua Shi was delicate and charming, no one in the Ethereal Heaven sect dared to look down on her. Her talent was also known as the number one in the ethereal heaven sect. However, Yi Qinfeng's face didn't show any emotion. Junior brother Yi, be careful. Hua Shi suddenly bloomed a smile that was more beautiful than a flower. A strange power spread out from her body and blasted into Yi Qinfeng's sea of soul. A large number of strange illusions appeared in his sea of soul, confusing his mind. Chapter 1603. Whoosh! Hua Shi took Yi Qinfeng by surprise. When she used the power of illusion to confuse his mind, her body moved at the same time. She held a dragon head spear that was longer than her body and made of special materials and stabbed at Yi Qinfeng's chest. 8-1 Chinese 8-1-1-Z 1-1-C-101 Amazed the spear stabbed, layers of air were directly pierced. The terrifying spear light was invincible and blended with terrifying Tao will. It could even pierce through mountains. Seeing that Hua Shi's spear was about to pierce Yi Qinfeng's throat, Yi Qinfeng, whose eyes flickered with the illusory Xian level Tao diagram, stretched out a finger. More than 2.5 billion power burst and poured into his finger as he pointed at the tip of the dragon head spear. Buzz! An ear-piercing buzzing sound was heard. Yi Qinfeng blocked Hua Shi's spear with a finger. The terrifying power passed through the spear and shattered layers of Tao will and poured into Hua Shi's arm, causing her arm to feel severe numbness. What great strength! Hua Shi's expression changed slightly. She did not expect Yi Qinfeng's strength to be so horrifying. He was able to neutralize her attack with one finger. She quickly withdrew her spear and leaped into the air. Then, she interweaved spear lights that looked like coiling dragons and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Cosmos Sword Array. Streaks of divine dragon spear light pierced towards Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng did not dodge. With a thought, a large number of Qiankuan swords flew out of his body. Under the control of his will, they transformed into an extremely powerful Qiankuan sword formation, crushing the streaks of divine dragon spear light. Sky-piercing spear. The interweaving divine dragon spear lights were constantly being crushed. Hua Shi instantly merged with the dragon head spear and turned into an incomparably huge divine spear that seemed to be able to pierce through space. It blended with two Xian-level Tao diagrams and ruthlessly stabbed at the Cosmos Sword Array in front of Yi Qinfeng. The power of this spear was extremely shocking and almost reached the peak of Hua Shi's attack. However, the Cosmos Ring had merged with more than 100 supreme sacred swords, and its power was greatly enhanced. Hua Shi's sky-piercing spear couldn't pierce the Cosmos Sword Array at all. Heaven and Earth Star Seal. When the two attacks clashed fiercely in midair, Yi Qinfeng's hands twisted quickly. Rolling golden Tao power surged between his palms, turning into a giant handprint that seemed to contain the stars of heaven and earth. With the power to destroy everything, it blasted toward the heavenly spear that Hua Shi had transformed into. Boom! The heaven and earth star seal shattered, and so did the gigantic heaven-raising spear shadow. The terrifying explosive force slammed into Hua Shi's body and sent her flying. She almost fell out of the arena and lost the match. So strong. This Yi Qinfeng is really strong. Senior Sister Hua's sky-raising spear couldn't do anything to him. Nonsense, this Yi Qinfeng is the one who broke our ancestors' record. How can he not be strong? I wonder if Senior Brother Yu can defeat him? I don't think so. Although Senior Brother Yu is strong, he is only a little stronger than Senior Sister Hua. And this Yi Qinfeng is facing Senior Sister Hua with ease. He didn't use his full strength at all. I think Senior Brother Yu is no match for him. Watching Yi Qinfeng break Hua Shi's attack with a single handprint and push her back, the ethereal heaven sect disciples below the arena whispered to each other. However, Yu Jianfeng turned a deaf ear to the crowd's discussion. This kind of discussion had no effect on him, who had a firm heart of martial arts. Yi Qinfeng, can you show me your true strength? The proud Hua Shi slammed her dragon head spear on the ground and said angrily. Well, then Senior Sister Hua, take my punch. As he spoke, the 5 elements heaven-level Tao diagram appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body and hovered above his head. Heaven-level Tao diagram. That Yi Chunfeng actually cultivated the Tao intent to such an extent. Looking at the 5 elements heaven-level Tao diagram condensed by Yi Chunfeng, everyone present revealed a look of horror. Even Yu Jianfeng's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng fused his physical strength with the 5 elements heaven-level Tao diagram and executed the true spirit dragon fighting fist at Huaxi. With a punch, the space in front of him immediately rioted. The terrifying power shattered the layers of air, carrying a suffocating power as it blasted towards Huaxi. Break. Facing Yi Chunfeng's true spirit dragon fighting fist, Huaxi burned her powerful bloodline power and raised her strength to the limit. She forcefully thrust her dragon head spear forward. Boom! When the dragon head spear pierced Yi Chunfeng's true spirit dragon fighting fist, a force that was beyond Huaxi's imagination exploded. The rolling force was like a tide that broke through a dam, bombarding Huaxi's body, directly shattering her body's defense and sending her flying hundreds of meters away. She fell off the stage and lost the match. Strong, this Yi Chunfeng's strength is too strong. Senior sister Hua actually couldn't withstand his punch. Yi Chunfeng, you really didn't disappoint me. Yu Jianfeng's eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit. His body flashed and appeared on the stage like a divine sword. A terrifying sword aura soared into the sky and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. I have never disappointed anyone, Yi Chunfeng said with an indifferent expression. Alright. Yu Jianfeng took a deep breath. A large number of sword cries reverberated from his body. A terrifying sword aura pervaded the surroundings, causing the sacred swords in the bodies of all the disciples below the stage to hum. It was as though Yu Jianfeng was the emperor of the sword Tao and could make all the swords worship him. 5-star Tao Emperor, senior brother Yu has broken through to the 5-star Tao Emperor realm. Sensing the aura emitted by Yu Jianfeng, the disciples on the stage immediately confirmed that Yu Jianfeng's realm was on par with Yi Chunfeng and was also a 5-star Tao Emperor. Ka. When Yu Jianfeng mobilized his powerful sword aura, Yi Chunfeng suddenly took rhythmic steps and walked towards him step by step. With every step Yi Chunfeng took, the aura in his body doubled. The increasingly powerful aura faintly suppressed Yu Jianfeng's sword aura. Slash! Yu Jianfeng's body moved. With a flash, he transformed into a sword and slashed out. The terrifying sword light transformed into the shape of a half-moon. Like a beam of light, it slashed towards Yi Chunfeng's head. Boom! When Yu Jianfeng slashed out a sword light, Yi Chunfeng immediately blasted out a punch. The terrifying fist light smashed onto the half-moon sword light and used the most brutal method to shatter it. Boundless Thunder Wind's sword. When Yi Chunfeng broke the attack with a punch, a mid-grade True Spirit artifact grade longsword appeared in Yu Jianfeng's hand. It carried a terrifying wind and thunder aura as it attacked Yi Chunfeng. When the sword slashed out, wind and thunder moved together. The terrifying sword aura swept through the endless void and directly enveloped Yi Chunfeng. True Spirit Fighting Dragon Fist. Facing Yu Jianfeng's killer move, Yi Chunfeng quickly deduced the 5 elements Heaven Tao diagram and blasted out terrifying fist light that was enough to kill a true dragon. It constantly shattered Yu Jianfeng's Boundless Thunder Wind sword and broke his killer move. Yi Chunfeng, do you think that I'm not worthy for you to execute the Misty Sword Cannon? Although Yi Chunfeng's attack was ferocious, Yu Jianfeng knew that Yi Chunfeng's real killer move was the supreme grade True Spirit Saint Art, the Misty Sword Cannon. He said with some annoyance. Alright, senior brother Yu, be careful. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng's Sacred Eclipse sword appeared in his hand. Immediately after, the 3 profound Tao diagrams appeared and merged with the 5 elements Heaven Tao diagram, turning into a sea of Tao intent. Misty True Sword. When Yi Chunfeng deduced the power of Tao intent to the extreme, He instantly mobilized the terrifying power of Tao intent and fused it into the sacred eclipse sword, slashing out with an invincible sword. When the sword slashed out, the terrifying sword light seemed to stir up the misty great Tao. The terrifying power directly left a deep sword mark in the tough space, and slashed towards Yu Jianfeng, who had executed his strongest killer move and received it with all his strength. Boom! The two killer moves collided and shattered at the same time, turning into endless sword shadows that shone in the void. Although Yi Chunfeng did not borrow the power of the golden sword soul when he executed the misty true sword, it was still not something that Yu Jianfeng could resist. In the blink of an eye, the remaining power of the misty true sword bombarded Yu Jianfeng's body, directly blasting him off the stage and losing the final match. Chapter 1604. Lost, senior brother, you lost just like that. It didn't even take half an incense's time. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's ethereal true extreme sword sent Yu Jianfeng flying off the stage, the spectating disciples below the stage couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. They were disappointed by Yi Chunfeng's terrifying battle strength. 8. Chinese? 8. 1. Z. Calm. Senior brother Yu, senior sister Hua, thank you for letting me win. Yi Chunfeng said apologetically as he leaped off the arena and helped Yu Jianfeng, who was covered in blood, up. There's no such thing as letting you win or not admitting it. You are stronger than me, I admit defeat. Although Yu Jianfeng was proud and arrogant, he was also a person who could accept defeat. He said in a carefree manner, Yi Chunfeng, can you tell me where your true limit is? Hua Shi, whose face was slightly pale, walked over and stared at Yi Chunfeng, who had easily defeated her, and asked, if I use all my trump cards, I should have a chance to defeat a peak 6-star Tao Emperor. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and said, Sigh, with your battle strength, it's no wonder I lost to you. Hua Shi sighed softly and said, Tell me the ancient item you need, we will help you find it. Thank you, senior sister Hua, senior brother Yu. Yi Chunfeng told Yu Jianfeng and Hua Shi in detail about the shape of the key to open the secret realm. Under the gazes of reverence, he left the stage and returned to the White Cliff courtyard to wait for news. Qingfeng, where have you been these few days? Xia Wendy, who was trying to break through to the 2-star Tao Emperor realm with all her strength, stopped cultivating when she sensed Yi Chunfeng's return. She came to the courtyard and asked softly, I found the ethereal heaven sect's secret realm, but because I don't have the key, I can't enter. Just now I had a battle with Yu Jianfeng and Hua Shi. I am planning to borrow their strength to help me find the key to enter the secret realm from the ethereal heaven sect. Yi Chunfeng didn't hide anything from Xia Wendy. Great, this lady is looking forward to breaking through to the 2-star Tao Emperor realm. Xia Wendy's beautiful big eyes curved into a crescent shape as she said excitedly. Days passed. Because of Yu Jianfeng and Yu Jianfeng, Yi Chunfeng had been waiting in the White Cliff courtyard for news. But a month had passed in a row, and he still did not wait for Yu Jianfeng and Yu Yang. He could not help but feel somewhat anxious in his heart. If he couldn't find the key to the secret realm, it would be useless even if he found the secret realm. Unless he woke up Torch Dragon and tried to force open the door to the secret realm. While Yi Chunfeng was waiting for news, Xue Yixuan and Yu Lanxin constantly came to visit him, sparring with him and exchanging cultivation experiences. Although Yi Chunfeng's strength was far superior to the two girls had extraordinary talents and vast knowledge. While interacting with them, Yi Chunfeng benefited a lot, allowing him to gradually grasp the concept of the Misty Sword Cannon's third move, Misty Grand Tao Sword. Just as Yi Chunfeng waited for over 3 months, Yu Jianfeng suddenly paid a visit. Senior brother Yu, have you found the antique I need? Looking at the imposing Yu Jianfeng, Yi Chunfeng went straight to the point and asked, Is this what you're looking for? As Yu Jianfeng spoke, he took out a palm-sized black stone plate from his universe ring. It didn't have the slightest trace of runes on its surface, seeming extremely ordinary. Yes, this is it. Receiving the black stone plate, Yi Chunfeng gently stroked it. He was completely sure that this stone plate was made of the same material as the mystic realm's entrance. He was basically sure that this stone plate was the secret realm key he was looking for. Junior apprentice Brother Yi, after I obtained this stone plate from my father, I studied it for over a month, but I couldn't find anything special about it. I wonder if you could tell me what is so special about this stone plate? Although Yi Chunfeng tried his best to conceal his excitement, the sharp-eyed Yu Jianfeng was still able to detect a trace of suspicion. I saw this stone plate in an ancient text. It seems to be hiding some secret, but I need to study it for a while before I can find out what it is. Yi Chunfeng had already thought of an excuse. Yu Jianfeng meaningfully glanced at Yi Chunfeng. He didn't ask any more questions and turned to leave. All right, you take your time studying it. If you need anything, come find me. Did you find it? Just as Yu Jianfeng left, Xia Wendy came to Yi Chunfeng's room and laid down a soundproofing spell. I found it. But in order to avoid alerting the enemy, we'll wait for a period of time before going to the mystic realm. Yi Chunfeng nodded and placed the black stone plate into the universe mirror. Soon, a year passed. During this year, Yi Chunfeng was the same as always. When he had nothing to do, he would train with Xue Yixuan and Yu Lanxin, the two icy beauties. When he was free, he would wander around misty, immortal mountains. Finally, one day, he felt that the time was right. He transmitted Xia Wendy into the universe mirror and arrived outside the black hole of death. True Elder, I want to enter the black hole of death again. Is that possible? Yi Chunfeng softly asked. Of course. True Elder nodded and opened the spell, allowing Yi Chunfeng to enter the black hole of death that was filled with the power of death and undead spirits. After entering the black hole of death, Yi Chunfeng immediately increased his speed to the limit and rushed towards the end of the black hole of death. Soon, he arrived at the end of the black hole of death. Summoning the space-devouring bug, he broke through the layers of seals and entered a mysterious space that was as dark as ink. He arrived at two towering stone doors that were as tall as mountains. I hope this is the key to opening the mystic realm. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. He took out the black stone plate and placed it in the groove below the stone doors. Perfect! Seeing the black stone plate perfectly fit in the groove, Yi Chunfeng was secretly delighted. He erupted with a powerful physical strength and gently twisted the stone plate. Ka. As the stone plate twisted, the two towering stone doors that were submerged in the darkness began to shake. A terrifying strength fluctuated, causing the entire space to tremble. A loud rumbling sound rang out. Not good! Yi Chunfeng did not expect that the opening of the two stone doors would cause such a huge commotion. His expression changed slightly as several thoughts flashed through his mind. After thinking for a while, he did not leave. Instead, he waited for the stone doors to open and enter the mystic realm. What's going on? As the towering stone doors slowly opened, the entire misty, immortal mountain began to tremble. The experts of the misty, immortal sect were alerted. They followed the source of the tremors and arrived outside the black hole of death. True Elder, what's going on here? Feeling the strongest tremors coming from the black hole of death, Yu Xian's expression changed slightly as he asked in a low voice. I don't know. True Elder shook his head and said doubtfully. He had guarded the black hole of death for countless years and had never encountered such a strange thing. He did not know why the black hole of death would shake so violently. True Elder, do you know who is in the black hole of death? Xue Shujun, the patriarch of the Xue family, asked. It's Yi Chunfeng. He was the only one who entered the black hole of death. True Elder said truthfully. Yi Chunfeng? Why is it him? Could it be that the huge tremors coming from the black hole of death are related to him? Yu Xian and the others guessed. Father, do you still remember that black stone plate I asked you for? That stone plate was what Yi Qinfeng asked for. Perhaps the black hole of death's sudden tremors are related to it. Yu Jianfeng suddenly thought of something and said, "Let's go in and see what Yi Qinfeng is up to." After saying that, Yu Xian and the others were about to charge into the black hole of death to investigate. Just as they entered the black hole of death, a terrifying restrictive force spread out from the black hole of death. This force was so strong that it instantly collapsed the entire black hole of death. In the next moment, two mysterious stone doors slowly opened in the misty, immortal mountain. They pierced through the clouds and shattered the terrifying restrictive force that enveloped the misty, immortal mountain, shocking the entire area. Chapter 1605. Yi Qinfeng, what are you doing? When Yu Xian and the others rushed through the stone door that pierced through the clouds, they found Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in blood, staring at a slowly rotating light wheel. Baba? Chinese. Equals is not equal to equals. Less than or equal to I'm sorry, sect leader. I didn't tell you the reason. Yi Qinfeng sighed softly and turned around slowly. Although the stone door was open, when he entered, he found an even more terrifying light wheel restriction spell. The strength of this restriction spell was beyond his imagination. When the space-swallowing insect tried to devour the light wheel restriction spell, it was severely injured. Helpless, he could only think of other ways. Yi Qinfeng, what is this place? How did you know about this place? Yu Xian said with an unfriendly face. Sect leader, do you know about the ancient secret of the Misty Heaven sect? Yi Qinfeng thought for a while and said, Ancient secret? You mean this is the ancient secret of the Misty Heaven sect that has been passed down for countless years? As the sect leader of the Misty Heaven sect, Yu Xian knew about the ancient secret of the Misty Heaven sect. However, there were too many legends about the ancient secret. The ancestors of the Misty Heaven sect had searched for it, but they couldn't find it. After a long time, the ancient secret was only recorded in ancient books and gradually faded from people's mind. Yes, this should be the most mysterious ancient secret of the Misty Heaven sect. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, I also learned about this place by chance from an ancient book. Then, with senior brother Yu's help, I found the key to open the ancient secret. Yi Qinfeng, you joined the Misty Heaven sect for the ancient secret, right? Yu Xian said with a frown. Who wouldn't be moved by such a rare opportunity? Yi Qinfeng said with a calm expression. Yi Qinfeng, this ancient secret is the inheritance of the Misty Heaven sect's ancestors. Now that it has been discovered, we won't let anyone else touch it. Yu Xian was also clear about the value of the ancient mystery. If the Misty Heaven sect could obtain the ancient mystery item, the overall strength of the Misty Heaven sect would definitely reach a terrifying level. They could even become one of the most powerful forces in the Void Zone. Yes. Yi Qinfeng nodded. He didn't stay for long and turned to leave. Father, this Yi Qinfeng is definitely not simple. How should we treat him? Yu Jianfeng looked at Yi Qinfeng's departing figure and transmitted his voice. Send someone to observe his whereabouts first. If he tries to force his way out, the Misty Heaven sect will eliminate him. If he doesn't want to leave, we'll keep him here for a while. Yu Xian revealed his ruthless nature and said, also, seal off all information about the mystic realm. If I find out that someone leaked the information, don't blame me for killing them. Due to the appearance of the secret realm, the misty immortal mountain's defenses had been raised to the highest level. However, the appearance of the two majestic stone doors had caused a huge commotion, and it had alarmed many of the major powers of the misty immortal mountain. In addition, there was no such thing as an absolute secret. Soon, the news of the appearance of the Misty Heaven sect's mystic realm had spread throughout the entire Void Zone like the wind. Even many terrifying forces outside the Void Zone had received the news. For a moment, the entire Void Zone was bustling with noise and excitement. The Misty Heaven sect's mystic realm was even more exaggerated and exaggerated, making many forces and races drool, wanting to get a share of the pie. Qingfeng, are you really willing to give the ancient secret to someone else? Yi Qingfeng returned to the White Cliff courtyard and immediately activated the restrictions in the courtyard. He rejected everyone and waited patiently. No, I must get the sword principle. Yi Qingfeng shook his head and said, however, I can't open the light wheel restriction in the mystic realm. I can only open it with someone else's help. Aren't you afraid that the mystic realm will attract a large number of experts? Xia Wendy asked worriedly. Don't worry. Everything is going according to my plan. There won't be any mistakes. Yi Qingfeng gently scratched Xia Wendy's small nose and said, what we need to do now is wait. Yi Qingfeng waited calmly, but Yu Xian and the others could not hold it in anymore. They had used all the power they could, but they were still unable to break the light wheel restriction. They fell into a state of anxiety. What should we do, sect leader? Now, many forces are loitering around the misty, immortal mountain. Obviously, we are here for the ancient secret. The second elder, Hua Ziying, felt the severity of the situation and said with a frown, Sai, I can't be sure whether the ancient secret is a blessing or a curse for the Misty Heaven sect. Yu Xian sighed softly. All of this is caused by Yi Qingfeng. If the ancient secret is missed by the Misty Heaven sect, I will not forgive him. The great elder, Feng Mulan, snorted coldly. We can't touch Yi Qingfeng. Yu Xian shook his head and said helplessly, he was able to find the ancient secret of the Misty Heaven sect that has been passed down for countless years. It proves that he is not simple. If we touch him, it is equivalent to touching the force behind him. It might bring disaster to the Misty Heaven sect. Sect leader, Palace Master Tsang of the Eternal Celestial Palace and Master Tianqing of the Nine Clarities Mountain are here. While Yu Xian and the others were discussing countermeasures, a disciple immediately ran in to report. Sai, what will come will come. Let's go and welcome Palace Master Tsang and Master Tianqing. Yu Xian sighed softly. The Eternal Celestial Palace was the #1 force in the Nihility region. Palace Master Tsang Mang was known as the #1 expert in the Nihility region. He had cultivated to the peak of the 6-star Tao Lord level. He was not someone the Misty Heaven sect could offend. On the other hand, Nine Clarity Mountain's overall strength was only slightly weaker than Eternal Celestial Palace. Nine Clarity Mountain's sect master, Lord Tianqing, was a 5-star Tao Lord, so Yu Xian didn't dare delay their arrival. He quickly opened up the restrictions and welcomed them into the Misty Heaven sect. Palace Master Tsang, Master Tianqing, please forgive me for not coming out to meet you. Yu Xian lowered his posture and said politely. Sect leader Yu, I heard that the secret realm of your sect that has been passed down for countless years has opened. I wonder if sect leader Yu is willing to share this secret with us? If sect leader Yu is willing, our two forces are willing to share the same name as the Misty Heaven sect and advance and retreat together. Song Mang, who was known as the strongest person in the Nihility region, took a sip of his tea and went straight to the point. This, Palace Master Tsang, Master Tianqing, this matter is too important. Can you let us discuss it? Yu Xian said hesitantly. No problem. We will wait here for your good news. Song Mang said, as if he was certain that the Misty Heaven sect would be under his control. I will give Palace Master Tsang and Master Tianqing an answer in 2 hours at most. After he finished speaking, Yu Xian left with the 3 patriarchs. Sect leader, we can't afford to offend these 2 forces. It seems like they won't give up until they achieve their goal. What should we do? Lord Xueshu's brows were tightly knit together as he spoke worriedly. Let's go. Let's go find Yi Qingfeng and ask for his opinion. Yu Xian sighed helplessly. Sect leader, you want to borrow Yi Qingfeng's power from behind the scenes? Hua Ziying asked. That's right. Yu Xian nodded and said, since Yi Qingfeng dares to open the secret realm, he should be prepared. Let's go find out what he has to say. Perhaps there will be an opportunity to get out of this predicament. After he finished speaking, Yu Xian and the others left the Misty Heaven Palace and went to the White Cliff Courtyard where Yi Qinfeng cultivated. Chapter 1606. Qingfeng, we have something to discuss. Please deactivate the restrictions in the courtyard. Yu Xian and the others didn't forcefully tear open the restrictions. Instead, they stood outside the courtyard and spoke in a low voice. 8th High School? Literature net? Is almost equal to less than or equal to. Sect leader, 3 family heads, please come in. Hearing Yu Xian's voice, Yi Qinfeng deactivated the restrictions and welcomed the 4 into the courtyard. Sect leader, 3 family heads, may I know the reason for your visit today? Yi Qinfeng asked, even though he already knew the answer. He had Xia Wendy pour spiritual tea for the 4 of them. Qingfeng, I won't beat around the bush with you. Now that the secret realm has become a hot topic, all the major factions want a share of the pie. Do we need your help? Yu Xian sighed softly in his heart and said helplessly. Sect leader, do you trust me? Yi Qinfeng took a sip of tea and asked leisurely. Compared to those people, I'd rather trust you. Yu Xian said. All right. Since you've chosen to work with me, I'll give you a promise first. Yi Qinfeng said. No matter what the outcome is, the Ethereal Heaven sect will obtain a great opportunity in the secret realm. Really? With the arrival of the patriarchs of the Eternal Heavenly Palace and 9 Clarity Mountain, Yu Xian no longer dared to dream of monopolizing the treasures in the secret realm. Based on Yu Xian's understanding of them, they wouldn't leave anything for the Ethereal Heavenly sect. Therefore, Yu Xian was overjoyed when he heard Yi Qinfeng's promise. Since I dared to say it, I'll definitely do it. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said resolutely. All right, then we'll trust you this time. Yu Xian gritted his teeth and made the choice helplessly. Sect leader, since you trust me, then do as I say. Yi Qinfeng said with a smile. Speak. Open the gates and let all those who covet the mystery realm come and enter the mystery realm together. Yi Qinfeng said. Qingfeng, are you trying to mess up the situation and make it more complicated? Xue Shujun frowned slightly. This is only one aspect. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, the most important thing is that the restrictions in the mystic realm are not simple. We need to borrow the help of others to break the restrictions. The more people we have, the less danger we will face in the mystic realm. More importantly, this mystery realm was left behind by the ancestors of the Misty Heaven sect. The restrictive spells in this mystery realm can't affect us much, but they can do a lot of damage to the invaders. Maybe we can use this opportunity to weaken the other forces and lay the foundation for the rise of the Misty Heaven sect. All right, then we'll do as you say. Yu Xian pondered over Yi Qinfeng's words. Although this decision was a little risky, they had already been forced into a dead end. They could only seek survival in the midst of danger. Xian Yu and the other 3 stayed in the White Cliff courtyard for a while to discuss the details with Yi Qinfeng. Then, they returned to the Misty Hall and informed Vast Expanse and Guru Heavenclear of their decision to share the secret realm with the Eternal Celestial Palace and 9 Clarities Mountain. Then, Yu Xian closed the restrictive spells that enveloped the Misty Immortal Mountain, allowing the other forces to enter the Misty Heaven sect. In an instant, the Misty Heaven sect became the most lively sect in the zone of nihility. Many forces rushed over after hearing the news, making the situation more and more complicated. Sect leader Yu, can you take us to the mystery realm now? Vast Expanse was angry at Yu Xian's decision to share the treasures in the mystery realm with all the other forces, but he believed in his own strength and the power of the Eternal Celestial Palace. All right, let's go. Yu Xian nodded and led the group to a huge stone gate that was as big as a mountain. Holding the key in his hand, he opened the gate and entered. Together, they broke the restrictive spells of the light wheel. Qingfeng, the other forces have entered the stone gate. Sect leader asked me to ask you if you want to go. While the other forces were breaking the restrictive spells of the light wheel, Xue Piaomiao, who was wearing a long white dress, found Yi Qinfeng and asked in a soft voice. No hurry. Now is not the time. Yi Chunfeng knew how powerful the restrictive spells of the light wheel were. If they tried to break it by force, it could cause casualties. Therefore, he was not in a hurry to enter the mystery realm. The restrictive spells of the light wheel were beyond imagination. Vast Expanse, Master Tianqing, and the other top forces of the Zone of Nihility worked together for 3 days and 3 nights, but they still failed to break the restrictive spells. However, the more powerful the restrictive spells of the light wheel were, the more it proved that the treasures in the mystery realm of the Misty Heaven sect were extraordinary. It strengthened Vast Expanse and the others' patience. On the 5th day, many invincible war chariots appeared in the sky above the Misty Heaven sect. Their terrifying aura spread out, making many disciples of the Misty Heaven sect tremble in fear. Azure Sky War Chariots. They are from the Azure Sky clan. Looking at the war chariots drawn with ancient patterns in the sky, Shui Piaomiao recognized them immediately. They were the war chariots of the Azure Sky clan, one of the overlords of the Zone of Nihility. Azure Sky clan. Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. He immediately remembered that Star Emperor's enemy was the Azure Sky clan. Shui Piaomiao sensed the evil aura emitted from Xiao Wendi's body. What? Do you have a grudge against the Azure Sky clan? Shui Piaomiao looked at Xiao Wendi and asked in a low voice. Kind of. Yi Chunfeng said vaguely, not telling the truth. Qingfeng, I don't know what your background is, but I advise you not to provoke the Azure Sky clan. Shui Piaomiao reminded him seriously. You can't imagine how terrifying the Azure Sky clan is. They are backed by the Imperial Sky clan, the overlord of the Nihility world. There are 2 divine realm experts in the Azure Sky clan. Even the Eternal Heaven Palace, the top force of the Zone of Nihility, can't compete with them. Don't worry, Palace Master. We will be careful. Yi Chunfeng held Xiao Wendi's soft hand and said. Sigh, I hope you will listen to me. Shui Piaomiao sighed. Azure Sky clan leader, I didn't expect you to come. Song Mang immediately recognized the tall figure who was wearing a dark blue robe. He was the clan leader of the Green Sky clan. He was Tianji Dao, who had just broken through to the 1-star Dao God realm. It's so lively here. How can we miss out on the Azure Sky clan? Tianji Dao, who was more than 10 times stronger than Song Mang, showed a proud smile and said, Sect Master Yu, we came without warning. You won't mind, right? Why would I? If I knew you were coming, I would have welcomed you personally. Although Tianji Dao had brought more than 20 experts of the Azure Sky clan to fight for the treasure, Yu Xian didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction. Instead, he kept a low profile. This was the difference in strength. In the heaven region, where the strong preyed on the weak could only be bullied. Tianji Dao's arrival made the situation more complicated. When Yi Chunfeng found out that Tianji Dao was a 1-star divine realm expert, he felt a little troubled. Although the divine demon Torch Dragon was more powerful than Tianji Dao, Torch Dragon's injuries were too serious. He didn't know how much strength Torch Dragon could use now. However, he couldn't back down now. He could only continue to wait. The power of the light wheel restriction was beyond imagination. Tianji Dao couldn't break it in a short time. This made everyone look forward to the treasure in the Misty Heaven sect's secret territory even more. They tried their best to break it at all costs. Finally, after nearly a month's time, the light wheel's restriction formation finally cracked open. A terrifying restriction power seeped out from the crack. It's cracked. It's finally cracked. Looking at the cracks in the barrier, the experts of the major forces who had worked so hard were overjoyed. They increased the intensity of their attacks, wanting to break through the barrier in one go and enter the secret realm. P.S. Don't miss the photo of Yi Chunfeng tonight. Add him on WeChat and you will see it. Chapter 1607. Break it! Tianji Dao roared. The light wheel that was suspended above his head seemed to contain the endless power of the heavenly way. It shone with a dazzling light, like a sun that had fallen into the mortal world, and crashed into the light wheel restriction that was full of cracks. 8th High School? Wen Wang? 1? 1? Z? Calm, low-grade transcendent saint weapon, the blue sky wheel. I didn't expect Tianji Dao to bring it here. Vast Expanse and the others had ugly expressions on their faces as they looked at the wheel of light that gave birth to the blue sky. They were not as strong as Tianji Dao. Now that Tianji Dao had brought a transcendent saint weapon, he could easily crush them and reduce their chances of getting the precious treasures in the Mystery Land. Retreat. When the blue sky wheel crashed into the light wheel, Yu Xian and the other experts of the Ethereal Heaven sect retreated as far as possible from the light wheel. Boom, boom, boom. A series of deafening explosions sounded. The terrifying power caused the entire space to tremble. Under the attack of the blue sky wheel, more cracks appeared on the light wheel. Through the cracks, people could vaguely see a gate in the light wheel. Break. After the attack, Tianji Dao pushed his Dao will to the extreme. He controlled the blue sky wheel and continued to crash into the light wheel, breaking the impregnable light wheel. In the next moment, an unimaginable power burst out from the light wheel. The terrifying destructive power swept through the world like a hurricane. It swept toward the experts of the major forces and swallowed them in an instant. As expected, this light wheel restriction is just as Yi Chunfeng guessed. It contains a frightening destructive power. Who knows how many people will lose their lives after suffering such a destructive attack? Sensing the danger, Yu Xian and the others, who had hidden outside the stone gate, escaped. However, the Azure Sky Clan, Eternal Heaven Palace, 9 Clearances Mountain, and Heavenly Path Holy Land suffered heavy losses. Among them, the Eternal Heaven Palace, which was closest to the light wheel, lost 6 Dao Emperors. The Azure Sky Clan, 9 Clearances Mountain, and Heavenly Path Holy Land also suffered casualties. A small force that coveted the Ethereal Heaven sect's Mystery Land was completely annihilated. The experts who came were all crushed by the light wheel. What's going on? What kind of power exploded? Shui Piamiao's expression changed slightly when she felt the entire Misty Mountain suddenly tremble violently. Many of the mountains cracked. If I'm not wrong, the light wheel restriction has been broken. Yi Chunfeng slowly stood up and looked into the distance. Palatial Lord Snow, Matzi, Senior Sister Snow, Third Senior Sister, let's go to the Mystic Realm. With that, Yi Chunfeng led the 4 women out of the White Cliff courtyard, heading towards the Black Hole of Death. Yuexian, let me ask you, did you already know that this light wheel restriction was dangerous? Vast Expanse, whose robes were severely damaged by the explosion of the light wheel, was furious. He glared angrily at Yu Xian and the others. Palace Master Tsang, you've wronged us. This mystic realm has existed for countless years, and our Misty Heaven sect has very little information about this place. We don't know how dangerous it is inside. Yu Xian's forehead was covered with sweat when he met Vast Expanse's angry eyes. He could only keep defending himself. That's enough, Palace Master Tsang. I don't think they dare to trick us. This is just an accident. Tianji Dao, who was covered in the light of Taoism, glanced coldly at Yu Xian and the others and said indifferently. After saying that, Tianji Dao summoned an abode of immortals and put the severely injured warriors of the Green Sky clan into the abode to heal their wounds. Then he took the others through the pitch-black space entrance and flew into the ethereal secret territory. Humph! Vast Expanse glanced coldly at Yu Xian and the others. He also summoned a cave residence and put away the injured experts of the Heavenly Palace. Then, he followed Tianji Dao and the others into the Misty Secret Realm. Ancestors bless us. I hope this trip to the Misty Secret Realm will open the opportunity for the rise of our Misty Heaven sect. Yu Xian concealed the anger in his eyes well and prayed in his heart. Whether they could gain anything in the mystic realm all depended on Yi Chunfeng. Qingfeng, you are here. Yu Xian and the others didn't follow closely after seeing all the major forces swarming into the misty secret realm. They waited until Yi Chunfeng and the other four arrived. "Let's go, Sect Master. Let's enter the mystic realm." Yi Chunfeng smiled confidently at Yu Xian and the others and led them into the misty secret realm. What a rich heavenly aura! After flying into the mystic realm, Yi Chunfeng found that the heavenly aura floating in the air was extremely rich. In many places, the heavenly aura had turned into liquid. Just a light breath could make people feel refreshed and comfortable. Yes, the teleportation array. After flying for a short while, Yi Chunfeng and the others found a huge teleportation array in front of them. Tianjidao, vast expanse, and the others had already entered the deepest part of the mystic realm through the teleportation array. "Motzi, hold on to me tightly." Yi Chunfeng held Xia Wendy's soft hand tightly and reminded her through voice transmission. Walking into the teleportation array, large amounts of teleportation light spilled out from the teleportation array, instantly enveloping Yi Chunfeng and the others. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng felt his hand being tightly gripped by another cold hand as they disappeared into the teleportation array. After an unknown period of time, the white light in front of Yi Chunfeng disappeared. Yi Chunfeng found himself in a lush forest. Aside from him, there was only Xia Wendy, who was tightly gripping his hand, and the cold and beautiful Xue Yixuan. Everyone else had disappeared. "It's just as I guessed. That teleportation array is a random teleportation array," Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. He looked at Xue Yixuan and said, "Senior Sister Xue, it seems you trust me a lot." "Yes, I think you are trustworthy. Following you will bring me greater opportunities." Xue Yixuan gently released Yi Chunfeng's hand and used her fingers to gently stroke her long hair as she spoke in a beautiful voice. "Since that's the case, let's go and see what opportunities there are in this mystic realm." Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to scan the surroundings and sensed for a while. He brought Xia Wendy and Xue Yixuan and flew towards the forest in the distance. After flying for a while, a refreshing aroma entered their nostrils. Following the aroma, the three of them found a strange tree that was over 3 meters tall. It was completely red and covered in sharp thorns. And on this strange tree, there were more than 10 fiery red fruits the size of longans. Fire Spirit's sacred fruit. Looking at the fiery red fruits, Xue Yixuan immediately recognized them. They were the legendary Fire Dragon sacred fruit. Every fruit was worth as much as a mid-grade true spirit pill and could increase one's comprehension of the Tao of Fire. The Fire Dragon sacred fruit tree grew extremely slowly. In order to grow to 3 meters tall, it would take tens of millions of years to form a Fire Dragon sacred fruit. Looking at the Fire Dragon sacred fruit tree in front of them, Yi Chunfeng and the others did not act rashly. They knew that the more precious a spiritual object was, the more terrifying its guardian would be. Over there. With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng's gaze locked onto a thick pile of leaves under the Fire Dragon sacred fruit tree. He sensed danger under the leaves. A saint-level beast. This mystic realm is indeed dangerous. It's hard to find a saint-level beast in the outside world. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Golden Sword Soul. Under the control of his mind, it suddenly attacked the thick leaf. Roar. Suddenly attacked by the Golden Sword Soul, a furious roar sounded. A demonic snake, whose body was covered in fiery red scales and had a huge sarcoma on its forehead, crawled out and hissed loudly at Yi Chunfeng. This demonic snake's strength was terrifying, but after being attacked by the Golden Sword Soul, its tough scales were severely damaged and a large amount of blood flowed out. "Don't attack, leave it to me." After saying that, Yi Chunfeng ignited his grand mist blood and raised his physical body's strength to 7.5 billion jin. He charged at the angry red demonic snake and engaged it in a fierce battle. Although the red demonic snake was terrifying, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was even stronger. One man and one snake fought fiercely, destroying everything around them. In about half an incense stick's time, Yi Chenfeng continuously used the true spirit dragon wrestling fist to attack the red demonic snake's weak point. The terrifying strength forcefully broke its neck. In the next moment, the golden sword's soul pierced through the demonic snake's head. The sharp attack directly pierced through its huge body and killed it. Chaos Divine Wood, devour! After killing the saint-level beast, Yi Chenfeng kept its huge body into the Qiankuan realm and summoned the Chaos Divine Wood to devour the Fire Spirit Sacred Fruit Tree. He then plucked 12 Fire Spirit Sacred Fruits and shared them with Xia Wendi and Shui Yixuan. Chapter 1608. Qingfeng, how did you cultivate your body? Why is it so terrifying? You can actually kill a sacred beast with your bare hands. Shui Yixian was well aware of how terrifying a sacred beast's body was. It could completely crush a top-grade sacred tool, but Yi Chenfeng was able to kill it so easily. This made Shui Yixian very surprised. 8th high school? When first high school? Because I've cultivated a body refining sacred art. Yi Chenfeng vaguely explained, let's go. We can't let other forces take away the peerless opportunity here. As he spoke, Yi Chenfeng summoned his sword wings and flew with the two girls into the depths of the vast forest at an extremely fast speed. What's ahead? Yi Chenfeng and the other two flew in this vast forest for about 2 days. They killed 2 king-level saint beasts and plucked several saint herbs of heaven and earth that were over 1,000,000 years old. Suddenly, they were attracted by an angry roar in front of them. They sped up and flew over. Sacred beast, violent earth bear. When Yi Chenfeng and the two girls flew to a steep mountain peak, below the mountain peak, there was a 6-star celestial emperor wearing a dark blue robe. His whole body was filled with the power of heaven. He was holding a long spear and had reached the level of a 6-star celestial emperor. He was fighting with a black bear that was more than 10 feet tall. Its fur stood upright and its eyes were blood-red. Judging from the violent aura of this black bear was the king of the bear clan, the violent earth bear. Its strength had reached the level of a sacred beast. Roar! The violent earth bear roared and stretched out its unimaginably huge paw. It carried the power of billions of pounds and slapped at the blue-robed man. The terrifying power forcibly bent the blue-robed man's long spear and forced him back. Star Moon Pearl. The blue-robed man's strength was not a match for the violent earth bear. He immediately spat out a pearl that was like a star. It emitted a bright moonlight and flew towards the violent earth bear. Boom, boom, boom. Under the incomparably heavy attack of the Star Moon Pearl, the violent earth bear's huge body was constantly pushed back. Its huge body crashed into the towering mountain behind it, shaking the entire mountain. Star Moon Pearl. This seems to be the ancestor's Star Moon Pearl. Looking at the pearl that the blue-robed man had summoned, Xia Wendi immediately recognized that it seemed to be the Star Moon Pearl, Monarch Star's #1 precious treasure. That's right. That's the Star and Moon Pearl. This person should be the Almighty of the Green Sky Clan who killed Senior Star Emperor. Yi Chenfeng nodded. Qingfeng, help me kill him and avenge my ancestors. Xia Wendi glared hatefully at the blue-robed man, gnashing her teeth as she spoke. Alright, you guys wait for me here. I'll go kill this person and take revenge for Senior Star Emperor. Yi Chenfeng nodded. He flew down from the steep mountain peak while interweaving sword shadows that were tens of thousands of zhang long. Sensing that someone was flying over, the blue-robed man was overjoyed. He shouted at Yi Chenfeng, Sir, I am Tian Chongshu, the guardian of the Green Sky Clan. Please join hands with me to kill this violent earth bear. At that time, we will definitely share the opportunity it is guarding. No problem. Yi Chenfeng burned his primordial blood and summoned his mid-grade True Spirit Saint artifact, the Heavenly Sacred Sword. He weaved out streaks of sword shadows, blocking the violent earth bear's descending paw. Good strength. Tian Chongshu was overjoyed when he saw Yi Chenfeng neutralize the violent earth bear's attack. He controlled the star and moon pearl to attack the violent earth bear. The moment Tian Chongshu attacked with all his strength, he suddenly felt a sense of danger from the depths of his heart. His expression changed slightly. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng's entire body merged with the heavenly sacred sword. He performed the 1-meter boundless sword at close range and slashed at him. With a slash, the 1-meter boundless sword slashed down from the sky. The terrifying sword aura evolved the Tao of heaven and earth, carrying an unstoppable force. It ruthlessly slashed at Tian Chongshu's body, breaking through his body's defenses and slamming him down to the ground. A large amount of blood spurted out from his body. Green Luan Sacred Bow. After succeeding in his sneak attack, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Blue Luan Sacred Bow. He deduced his Tao intent to the extreme and pulled the Blue Luan Sacred Bow into the shape of a full moon. Then, he shot out 3 arrows consecutively towards the heavily injured Tian Chongshu. Roar! 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 When Yi Qinfeng attacked Tian Chongshu with all his strength, the berserk violent earth bear let out a roar. Like a towering mountain, it suddenly slammed at Yi Qinfeng and collided with Yi Qinfeng's body. The violent earth bear was known for its strength. Its physical body was even more terrifying. However, when its mountain-like body collided with Yi Qinfeng, it lost control for a moment and was pushed back by Yi Qinfeng's explosive force of 7.5 billion pounds. Relying on his powerful Xian body to take on the violent earth bear, Yi Qinfeng turned into a streak of sword shadow and landed at the bottom of the valley. He continued to attack the severely injured Tian Chongshu. Damn it! Who the hell are you? Aren't you afraid of the revenge of the Green Sky tribe? Tian Chongshu, who was covered in blood, roared at Yi Qinfeng furiously. He used the name of the Green Sky tribe to pressure Yi Qinfeng. The people I am killing are from the Green Sky tribe. Yi Qinfeng ignored him. He raised his Tao intent to the extreme and continued to attack Tian Chongshu with terrifying killer moves. He was suppressing Tian Chongshu in all aspects. Brat, just wait for the revenge of the Green Sky tribe. Tian Chongshu, who was severely injured, wanted to use his trump card to escape. There won't be such a day. With that, Yi Qinfeng suddenly sped up the flow of time by 4 times and blocked in front of Tian Chongshu. Then, Yi Qinfeng waved his arm gently and isolated the space, greatly limiting Tian Chongshu's escape route. Misty Ancient Extreme Sword. When Tian Chongshu burned his qi and blood to forcefully pass through the isolated space, Yi Qinfeng executed his strongest move. He slashed out an ancient extreme sword that seemed to have come from the ancient times. It slashed towards Tian Chongshu. As the sword slashed out, the heaven and earth shook violently. A shallow crack appeared in the chaotic space, leaking out boundless Tao intent as it ruthlessly slashed at Tian Chongshu's body. Qi. Although Tian Chongshu tried his best to dodge, his left shoulder was still struck by the sword. It was chopped off, and a large amount of blood spurted out. Giant Spirit. After severely injuring Tian Chongshu with a single slash, Yi Qinfeng summoned the Giant Spirit Sword, which was a supreme-grade True Spirit Saint artifact and weighed hundreds of millions of pounds. He waved this huge True Spirit Saint sword and slashed at Tian Chongshu, whose expression changed drastically. Star Moon Pearl Defend. Facing the attack of the Giant Spirit Sword, Tian Chongshu, who had lost his left arm, could only summon the Star Moon Pearl to defend. However, under the attack of Yi Qinfeng's 7.5 billion pounds of strength and the dancing Giant Spirit Sword, the star-like Star Moon Pearl couldn't withstand at all. It was sent flying by Yi Qinfeng's slash and smashed into Tian Chongshu's body. He was smashed into the valley, creating a huge pit and causing the surrounding few miles to tremble violently. Roar! 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 When Yi Qinfeng was attacking Tian Chongshu with all his strength, the violent earth bear rushed over again. It let out an earth-shattering roar and launched a ferocious attack at Yi Qinfeng, who was the biggest threat to it. At this moment, a graceful figure blocked in front of the violent earth bear. Streaks of sharp sword images interweaved and attacked the violent earth bear's eyes, distracting it so that it could not attack Yi Qinfeng with its full strength. Go to hell! Taking advantage of the time when Shui Yishuan was defending against the violent earth bear, Yi Qinfeng threw out the 10-feet-long giant spirit sword with all his strength. With an unstoppable attack power, the sword landed on the heavily injured and powerless Tian Chongshu, directly turning him into minced meat. He died on the spot, and a bottomless chasm was left in the trembling valley.